Good evening, wonderful people, great Biafrans, wherever you are on the face of this very planet. We welcome you to another exciting edition of our live address, a live broadcast being disseminated across a plethora of platforms this very evening on the 8th day of February in the year of our Most High Elohim 2020, with the time now standing at approximately 3 minutes past the hour of 7 p.m. in the blessed land of Biafra, and the same number of minutes past the top of the hour wherever you are across the entire 24 time zones of the world. We welcome you. Due to understandable technical difficulties, we are not able to play you the Professor Innocent Odenibo rendition of our national anthem, but we shall endeavor to do so at the end of this very program. Therefore, I welcome each and every one of you, and as I do so, I will very seriously encourage you to welcome those who are around you as well. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. As ever, we have come to preach this very gospel of restoration. We have come for the dissemination of the truth, for the dismantling of the damnable zoological republic, the inevitable ushering in of this blessed land of Biafra. Its very restoration is what we pursue in truth and in every honesty, and by the grace of the Most High Elohim, Biafra shall be restored in our time. We are not only resolute, we are determined. We are not only committed, we are prepared to sacrifice everything sacrificable to ensure that Biafra comes into existence, because that is the only thing that Elohim would have wished or have requested of us. That is why this very family, this very noble IPOB, this very humble family, this very family, I say, created by God himself in heaven to ensure that Biafra comes in our time, this very glorious family shall exist forever and ever, I assure you. It is an honor, it is a unique privilege. I find myself sometimes exceptionally blessed to be leading these very wonderful people, this very great nation. The answer to the deprivation that Africa has become, Biafra, is the only solution, the only way out of the maze of darkness, iniquity, and evil that have bedeviled Africa for centuries. Therefore, we make no apologies. We have come that the blind may see. We have come that those who are deaf may hear. We have come that those who are living may continue to live and not fall under the machete, the bullets, and the knives of the terrorists that inhabit the Arewa Janjaweed territory of the Zoological Republic. Here we preach the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. There is nothing our enemies can do. They can threaten, they can huff, they can puff, but they can never blow the house down, I assure you. They know, they understand how relentless and remorseless we are in the pursuit of this very noble quest. Our enemies will attest to the very fact that this very IPOB, they have never seen a type like it before. Therefore, I commend this very noble family. I commend every coordinator. I commend every principal officer. I commend every leader. I commend everybody who wakes up in the morning to offer a prayer to God in heaven for the preservation of IPOB and for the restoration of Biafra. For only them can see the light. For only them can inherit the kingdom of God that is to come, which can only be found in Biafra. Therefore, I say to all of you who are listening this evening, that indeed you are very lucky. You are living in exciting times, a time of great change, a time of great hope, a time, of course, of great trepidation. But in the end, we shall prevail because we are IPOB, because we are the children of light, because we are Biafrans. Ultimately, we win. Not minding whatever unpalatable circumstance we may find ourselves in, the priority remains the restoration of Biafra. It doesn't matter what the enemies are doing. It doesn't matter what their plans are. One thing is inescapable. At the end of this very journey, Biafra shall emerge to stand alone as the hope and the light and the beacon that Africa will look up to for generations to come. I welcome each and every one of you once again. Make sure you have your pen and your paper ready, because this is the greatest and the very finest university on the face of this very earth. If you're not listening to Radio Biafra, you will be enveloped in ignorance if you're not part of this very noble family. The Janjaweed from the Sahel will continue to wreak havoc not only upon your lives but also upon your destiny. Therefore, we must pray. We must call upon the Most High, because right now, in front of his throne in heaven is, of course, my father and my mother, because they believe very strongly that only the divine grace of the Most High shall restore Biafra. And that is why Biafra will come, because they have sacrificed their lives to ensure that those of us who are living shall be free. We must pray. We must pray. Wherever you are, you will lower your heads, because we dedicate everything that we are, everything that we have become, everything that we are likely to become unto the capable hands of the Creator of the heavens and the earth. Father, today, as we begin our prayer in praise and worship of your holy name, for you say we are fearfully and wonderfully made, according to the psalmist, according to the book of Psalms 139, chapter 14. We know this world is very hard. We know that existence in Nigeria is even harder. It's threatening to crush us every blessed day in far too many ways. Not just we Biafrans, but every ethnic composition unfortunate enough to be lumped together by Lugard in the damnable contraption that they call Nigeria. Physically, we cannot always outrun the ailments of our bodies. Sickness and injury take hold upon us. We are not always healed to the original state of our health. Mentally, we are bombarded and pulled by unfiltered thoughts threatening to run away with all that we represent on a daily basis. Spiritually, you promised us a battle in this life. The Janjaweed from the north, the Alamajiri, the sponsors of Boko Haram, the terrorists who go into political office to wreak havoc and mayhem upon the lives of the defenseless. They are threatening our very existence, and you have decreed that Biafra will come, that your children may be saved from the iniquitous existence in the colonial British contraption designed to enslave, to cage, to ridicule, and to destroy your children. You must bring our hearts to focus. We plead thee, O Elohim, your truth at the start of each very day. We expect a battle. We will get a battle, but also your deliverance is near, because that is your promise. You are God. You never fail. The same way you were yesterday, you are today, and shall remain forevermore. Father in heaven, in overwhelming moments like this, when we are being overrun by Fulani headsmen, when we are having puppets being installed in Imo State to serve the whims and the caprices of the Fulani Caliphate, moments like this, we seek your truth as we are reminded that you are our hiding place. You will protect us from troubles. You will surround us with songs of deliverance, according to the psalmist in the book of Psalms, chapter 32, verse 7. You will remind us of the greatness of our faith that have gone before us in bravery, with courageous faith in your protective hand of deliverance. We pray this very evening. David defeated Goliath against all odds, and even after being knocked the run for his life from King Saul, he cried out unto you in faith, and you delivered him. Even after he made terrible mistakes, but you delivered David, loving him until the end. We remember those that have died and have fallen in this very effort. We remember those that have gone before us to shed their blood for our freedom. Oh, Heavenly Father, we commit them unto thy hands. Our faith shall sustain us. Our resoluteness, O Elohim, shall grant us victory in the end, because you will lead this very army. This very army, you will stand in front of them as we go into battle to confront the forces of darkness that have brought misery, death, and pain upon your children. Come and give us your grace. Come and give us your mercy, that Biafra may come in our time, that your will in heaven may be done upon the face of this earth, that every generation that will come after this will testify that there is God in heaven, that Chukwokika Biama presided over all the affairs of men, and that Biafra came because you decreed it, that Biafra came because that was your wish upon the lives of those that call upon your name in truth and in honesty, as this very noble IPOB family has done and will continue to do until the end of time. In the grace, in the exaltation and adulation of your holy name, now and forevermore, we pray. He said, we must preach this very gospel, the gospel of deliverance, the gospel of restoration, because without Biafra we are nothing. Today we expose the underbelly of the corrupt contraption. Today we continue to exercise a greater knowledge over the ignorance that pervades the entire damnable zoological republic. Today we shall lift the veil of corruption. Today we shall remove iniquity from the lives of those who have been condemned to live in mediocrity. We must preach this very gospel, because a lot is happening in the zoo. It is our duty and our responsibility to bring this to the knowledge of the entirety of humanity, that heaven and earth may bear us witness that at this time, in this age, in this 2020, that this very gospel of truth was preached. That out of the ignorance of the many, The Janjaweed came down with their terrorist groups. They came down with Boko Haram. They came and visited us with their Fulani headsmen. ISIS in West Africa is slaughtering at will. Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb is there destroying lives. They branded them bandits and kidnappers in the north, but the lives of people are ending in disgrace on the highways of the north. Every blessed day there is kidnapping everywhere. Terror all around us. And what have we done as a people? What have we done as the children of the Most High? We have done absolutely nothing. We complain and we do nothing. The same template that other people are today emulating was first encapsulated by IPOB. We formed BSS to protect the lives of our mothers and our children and of those who are innocent. I was in the United States of America. I was in California, in Los Angeles to be precise. I asked for guns and I asked for bullets because I knew what was coming. I knew that death will come. I knew that the heavens have turned blood. I knew that darkness will envelop the land. I preached that very gospel and I told them. They did not listen. And today what is happening? The same thing they abandoned and said it will not work is what other people are copying. And our people have been left defenseless. The land of Biafra is the only place where there is no defense, if not for the bravery of the volunteer command of IPOB, who are on a daily basis sacrificing their lives to maintain and to ensure that our land is not overrun by the Janjaweed, by the Fulani illiterates from the north. Many horrible things are happening in the zoo. Very horrible things are happening on a daily basis. Your lives have become meaningless. Priests are being beheaded. Mothers are being kidnapped, raped. Pregnant women are having their children cut out of their stomach. Horrible and terrible things are happening. And nobody is doing anything about it. Nobody is saying anything about it because they are all frightened. They are all compromised. They are all corrupt. They are fearful of their tomorrow. But here we are not afraid to preach this very truth. Here we know that the truth must prevail. Whoever created Nigeria, that monster, that evil that created that den of death must be put to shame. They must be shackled and they'll be put to shame, and Biafra shall emerge, and so with it, the freedom for all oppressed ethnic groups in that damnable zoological republic. They have abandoned their pattern dance 1, pattern dance 2, pattern dance 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and who knows what else. What is now happening in the zoo is an indictment of the very essence of being a Nigerian. If you claim you are a Nigerian, your stupidity and your idiocy is staring you in the face. What the Fulani Janjaweed have done to your lives is a demonstration that it is your natural right, obligation, and duty to rise up to oppose iniquity as represented in the government of the Fulani Caliphate you have in Asarok. This evening we shall lay them bare. This evening we shall expose them. This evening the world will know that the zoo it is gone and gone for good. I said that the zoo will fall, and it has fallen. When I call it a zoo, don't get upset. Look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, which human being with common sense will inhabit a country that is as spectacular a failure as Nigeria has become? Look at yourself in the mirror and tell me if you will belong to a country or wish your children to belong to a country where all the horrible and terrible things happening in Nigeria today obtains. Ask yourself that very simple question. You know now why we call that place a zoo. You will begin to understand it. In fact, I concede to my dear sister, who is an Hollywood actress, I've forgotten her name, who said that a zoo is a better place than Nigeria. It is about time that people become self-critical. When you become self-critical, believe me, you advance. That is why Western Europe colonized the whole world. That is why they are advancing in every sphere of human endeavor, because they believe in self-criticism. When they are doing wrong, they criticize themselves, they get better. I do not understand why people who call themselves human beings, not just in Nigeria, but all across Africa, all we do is to wallow in self-pity. Nobody rises up in the morning to ask, why is it that we have abundance of coal, of natural gas, of wall-to-wall sunlight, almost 24 hours every blessed day? Why do we have rivers? Why do we have other means through which power can be generated? You have no electricity. That is an indictment of you as a human being. It means that your university education, your PhDs and all your degrees are entirely meaningless, because the things that your brain is supposed to utilize all the resources around it to produce, you're not doing it. Are Europeans with 2 or 3 heads? I'm asking you. Those who are advancing in Far East Asia, do they have 2 brains in their skull? They are human beings like we Africans are. But ask yourself this question: why is Africa not moving forward? Africa is not moving forward because of the level of mentality you find in a place called Nigeria today. This very evening, I want our people to try to be as reasonable as possible. Try to dissect and digest what you're being presented this evening, because our job, our duty, our responsibility is to open your mind, to allow you to reason properly, to open your eyes, that you can see very clearly, because black Africans cannot reason very well. We don't see very well, we don't hear very well. This evening, I hope to be able, as we embark upon this very journey of enlightenment, we will begin to repent, to offer ourselves for deliverance. Because if you do not offer yourself for deliverance, you can never be delivered. It's impossible. As Nigeria is crumbling on a daily basis, or should I say suffering under the weight of self-induced lawlessness. Lawlessness brought about by a government who do not obey the law. Lawlessness brought about by a group of people who did not even study law, nor understand what jurisprudence is all about. These are people who are archaic. These are people with a feudal mindset. These are people who can never, not in this world, not in the next, will they ever attain the height of greatness. Impossible. They are the ones in charge of your lives. That is why a Supreme Court can sit down, and when INEC is telling them that 850-something thousand people voted, a Supreme Court will sit down and tell you that the votes cast is over 900,000. And people are walking about and moving about, pretending everything is normal. That is what I find incredulous, absolutely debilitating in terms of those who still retain some semblance of reasoning capacity. I do not understand it. If people just move along as if everything is okay. And I keep asking myself, why are black Africans like this? Why are the so-called Nigerians like this? Why can't you reason for once in your life and ask God in heaven to give you common sense? Nigeria was only created in 1914. Ask yourself, what was your identity before 1914? Who were you before 1914? Who is your grandfather? Who is your grandmother? Who is your great-grandfather? Does it mean that your life never had any meaning? The existence of your culture no relevance until a white man descended from their boat in Badagry in Lagos and named you Nigeria. Can you begin to reason like human beings for once? I pray and I beg of you. When you see us so poor, our roads are not being built, no hospitals, no good schools, people are lamenting. There is no need lamenting. Ask yourself, what have I done to encourage this reign of iniquity and impunity in the land? It is your silence, because I believe that some of us are actually born into evil. That is why some of you gravitate towards what is bad, what can never be remedied. I understand today they said some local chiefs in Imo State, I don't know who paid them. Of course, somebody said they're faceless. Can a human being created by God in heaven, given common sense, went to primary school, to secondary school, to maybe a college somewhere to do their A-levels, and then went to university, you have a degree. And you're telling me that Hope Uzodinma should be in office. I cannot for the life of me understand it for 1 second. I cannot begin to understand it because it not only defies common sense, it is illogical. It is immoral before man and before God in heaven. What it means is that the Fulani Caliphate are in control of all our lives. If a governor misbehaves, they take him out and they put their puppet in. I'm saying this because of all those psychophants, all those idiots who are gravitating around Hope Uzodinma. I'm saying it, it is not about Imo State. It is not even about Igbo land. It is not even about Biafra as a whole. It's not even about Nigeria. It is about humanity and doing what is right before God in heaven and man on this very earth. We shall come back to that later. Some of you don't know that your people are dying. I'm making this address this evening to World Igbo Congress in the USA. They are the primary audience this evening. Of course, we know the whole world is listening, including some professors in universities across Argentina. We know they love Radio Biafra. We know that very much. I am asking you to go back to the broadcast I made sometime in 2015. When I was in the US, I was asking you for guns and for bullets. Some of you said, oh no, Nnamdi Kanu wants to start a war again. I said, no, I have seen what is to come. What you have in Nigeria are not prophets. Everything I tell you is gospel. Don't tell me, ask me how it's possible. It is simple divine revelation. If you go through the things that I have told you in the past, all of them, some of the events of today have surpassed my own predictions. I went to World Igbo Congress. They are called World Igbo. I said to them, give me guns and give me bullets because these murderers are coming. They are coming to kill us. They will kill us. These people, they are coming to take over our land. Let me even try and see if I can find, I think I asked the deputy today to try and circulate this very broadcast. The one that I made before. Very, very important. I don't know if people are listening via our app. I don't know if they are listening via our app because I'm getting reports here that some people are losing connection. I don't know how to. That is, of course, we know we have so many enemies. They are trying. They are fighting very hard, but they are losing. It's just like Trump. Forget all the nonsense, all the media hype, all the rubbish. At the end of the day, the people are with him the same way with this IPOB, the same way with this very position that I occupy. Forget all the nonsense you're hearing. Oh, this person said this from a job. We are not Biafra, we are rubbish. Go to the ground and ask the people. They will tell you that their heart, their mind, their soul, and their body is with this very IPOB. They recognize the importance, the relevance, and the great work that IPOB is doing. I went to America and I said to our people in the USA, give me guns and give me bullets. The zoo, being very clever, of course, advised by the British, said, oh, charge him with treasonable felony. He wants to cause a war. I said, no. Today, don't you have Amotekun in Yoruba land? They will carry guns. Today, you have something called, is it Dambro Bashege in the north? I don't know what they call it. They said they formed it 2 days ago. Is it not something I was saying to World Igbo Congress? Today, as I'm speaking to you, our houses are being destroyed in Ebonyi. Our defense in Ebonyi cannot stretch for the number of miles that the Nigerian army and their backup, the Fulani bandits and the terrorists are attacking on a daily basis. Some of you don't know this. When you see it, in fact, China give it to Amaka. I want it distributed now to let our people know what is happening in Ebonyi. They don't understand what is happening in Ebonyi. And sometimes I feel sorry for the governors. I never thought I'd hear myself say this. I feel sorry for them. You have seen what happened to Ihedioha. For hosting one Ahijoko lecture, he was one Ahijoko lecture. As somebody, I don't know if it was Obio Kole or was it a moderator who was interviewing him, asked him, said, why is it that any time people gather from the east, the north will get very jittery? Just one Ahijoko lecture and one birthday party for Mbazurika Meji. That is all. For our dear father, of course, he's our father. Only one birthday party. And they said Ihedioha must go. He's trying to bring the Igbo people together. He must go. And some people in Imo State will have the temerity to open their mouth to talk rubbish and say that whole person must be in Douglas House. But we are coming for all of you, one after the other. Mad, insane people. It's nothing to do with, I don't know who Emeka Ihedioha is. I don't want to know. I don't give a damn who they are. In fact, they're all the same thing. They're all Abuja brought up. They're all the same. But what is right is right. This IPOB stands on the side of justice all the time. I said justice all, regardless of who is involved. When I was in detention, some of you may have forgotten, I fought for the release of so-called Boko Haram suspects because I knew those young boys from Niger State were innocent. I fought for them. Some of you may have seen the clips. When I used to go to Federal High Court in Abuja, I used to stand in. I called the journalists and I called the parents of these boys suffering at the hands of the DSS. Inhumane conditions are being kept. I asked them to speak up, and some of them were released as a result of that. We fight injustice regardless of who is affected. Regardless. And what is happening in Imo State is a travesty. It's a shame on Imo people, not just on Imo people, on the entire Igbo race. It's a shame on the entire nation of Biafra. On all of us. On everybody. It is a shame because, as I've warned you before, if it goes in through one ear, it comes out of the other one. Somebody, they're scamming us. So look at these Biafrans. What are they doing? They're scamming us. But today they're slaughtering you. And they. Everything I said, has it not come to pass? Have they not abandoned the north to be circulating in my village? Yet some of you cannot reason. A war is going on in the north. Terrorists are taking over local governments in the north. And the so-called army designed, equipped to fight them, they're in Isama for perambulating. And some of you think it's normal. That shows the extent of depravity in your brain. That shows you in a very bad light. That shows you why you were colonized by the Europeans. That shows you why Africa is the bottom of the pile in the whole world in terms of human development and progress. Because there is a part of your brain that is pure darkness and evil. Anywhere you see evil, you go there. Like Loretta and Onochi, whatever that wayward woman's name is. Anywhere you gravitate towards. In fact, I'm happy to say that the European media used to do that before. Anywhere they see evil from Fulani, they go and they support. Now they have repented. Now they have changed. Because it has affected them. I'm sure it has affected these families as well. It is not big news because Biafrans don't control the media space in Nigeria, so it's not big news. But on Radio Biafra, we preach it that the world may hear, that mankind may bear us witness, that the day it starts, nobody will come and say, oh, they are seceding. They want us, of course, we are now everywhere. Nobody can lie against us anymore. Forget all the fake pages of blogging sites they have developed to publish junk and debunk their own junk they have published. Nobody can pocket IPOB. It is impossible. We are unstoppable. This train is unstoppable. If you stand in the way, you'll be crushed. Ask the zoo what they are going through. They will tell you. They will tell you. This is for Otundi Bonine, what they are called. I'll come to the rest of the Biafrans later on. But these are the main culprits. This is what I'm addressing this to them. I want to tell you what is happening in the zoo called Nigeria, to our people, to Biafrans, all over the place. But it is not big news. Why is it that Fulani terrorists hijacking GUO? Some of you know who GUO is. They operate what is called a luxurious bus. It's a coach from the north to the east, from the north to the west. There is also Ezenwata. They did not just abduct GUO motors, they abducted a luxurious bus carrying Biafrans that boarded Ezenwata luxurious bus. They also took Young Shall Grow. But none of you know, some of you don't know this. Some of us are we on Facebook gossiping and yapping, talking rubbish. On Instagram, writing junk. Whereas what the Flanes are teaching us is a new version of this is not just coronavirus, it's just something very similar but even more deadly. They are now all the luxurious buses coming from the north, they take them. These are the ones that people manage to escape. 1 or 2 persons to raise alarm. And the police are speaking about it. Not running after the terrorists, not running after the bandits and the kidnappers. No. They're in Eastern Africa in my village. And you're telling me that such a country deserves to exist. You're telling me that a country that is, that quite literally abandoned their commitment, their obligation, their constitutional duty to fight armed insurgency, left it and is perambulating in a village organizing a burial for their traditional ruler. Can you believe that? Can anybody in their right senses, can any human being that has brain in their skull comprehend such absurdity? They cannot. But I want to tell you why some of you condone it. I want to tell Nigerians why they condone evil. You condone evil because inside you, you are naturally bad. You are evil yourself. As I said earlier, I'm very glad that Yoruba newspapers, they have now repented. They have now seen the light. They have now seen the truth. What we are preaching is the truth. Nobody hates. I do not hate anybody. Before God in heaven and man, I don't hate anybody. But when you bring your reign of terror, when you bring your nepotism, when you bring your wayo to try to deceive people, we tell you no, it cannot happen. Not in this very generation of IPOB, it cannot happen. Have you seen how they quickly rushed and opened Iguacha Seaport? Calabar Warri? Have you seen it? Do you know why they have opened it? It's because of the work being done on this very platform, by this very radio station, by this very glorious worldwide family of IPOB, by what we have done. And of course, in part, to punish the Yoruba for forming Amoteku. World Igbo Congress in America, when Nnamdi Kanu was asking for guns and bullets, I want to tell you the result of your failure. I want to tell you the result of your failure, collective failure, individualism gone crazy. All of you think only about your family. What? Oh, my son is now in Yale. This one is in Stanford University. You forget the reason why you traveled abroad in the first place is to help those who are at home, not just your immediate family. The reason why God gave you the grace to travel abroad to see the light is to come and save those who are at home. It is also in the scriptures. Some of you don't, it is in the scriptures. Those that came back to, it was Joseph who was sold that came back to rescue the family from famine. Took them to Egypt. When you're sent abroad for a purpose. You have a purpose. That purpose is not to train your 1 or 2 or 3 children to become relevant or to become mighty society where they are. No, it's to help those who are at home, to bring that knowledge, that know-how and that expertise to alleviate the suffering heaped upon those who cannot help themselves. That is your job. I went to America. I went to Los Angeles and I addressed them. I told them, this is what is to come. They said no. Today, GU or luxurious bus. How many people are in luxurious bus all the time? At any one time? Ezenwata, Young Shall Grow. These are the ones we know. It is happening in Nigeria. And some people, some Biafrans are opening their mouth to say, oh, we need to maintain unity. We need to... In that unity, you are dying. In that unity, luxurious buses are being abducted. People are being killed on a daily basis. Priests are being murdered. Our own children are being buried in Kaduna. The latest priest that they beheaded, they killed, the seminarian, has been buried in Kaduna, which is an abomination against our culture and our way of life. After seeing what is going on in that, I don't want to use Donald Trump's words, because it's a family radio station. After observing what is happening in Nigeria, you are telling me that somebody that has or claim to have common sense will rise up and tell you that they believe in one Nigeria. Let's work for unity. I am telling you that you are the personification of evil. If you can stay in a country where people who are traveling, innocent people, on a bus, the bus was hijacked. Did they hijack any Dangote trailer? Did they hijack any of their transporters in the north? No, it is the ones belonging to Biafrans that they hijacked. You right. This your Biafra is a scam. This is your doing. Idiots talking rubbish. Ndị janja with to remain. People who they say, oh, Nnamdi Kanu is very vulgar. Well, I tell you the truth. There's something they accuse Trump of. The ordinary people understand what we are preaching, that we are preaching the truth. Ordinary people understand it. G.U. Omoto says, and what a young shall grow, they're all gone. It's not from me, it's from their Zoo newspaper. The Nigerian police on Monday said G.U. and what a young shall grow, we are taking on Lokoja Road. People missing. Mothers being killed left, right, and center. Ebonyi under siege. And what are you people doing about it? Absolutely nothing. You come and you will tell me that somehow it is good. Let's remember, for those belonging or campaigning, or should I say, arguing for Nigeria to be sustained in its present form. Go and say that to the 4 seminarians abducted from Kaduna. I was talking about Nnadi Michael. He was found dead. He's a follower of Christ in an area where they said it is haram to do so, and he's been killed because those around him believe in one Nigeria. If not for one Nigeria, would he be in the north doing seminary work? He's been killed. What will Khan do? Nothing. If you provoke us, we'll do something. We've been hearing it for nearly 18 years, and nothing has happened. When we preach on this platform the simple truth, you see some people say they want to open 4,000 for... No, not for 10,000 churches. You see how mad some people are. They call themselves preachers in the zoo. They go and they mount the pulpit and they talk rubbish. They collect tithe every Sunday. That is why in fact, when I pray, I will pray to God to tell my mother and my father what he put in the brain of black people, to be honest with you. People are dying in the zoo every blessed day, kidnapped, anarchy everywhere. As I told them, if some of you can recall my interview with Sahara Reporters, I said, if you do not give us, write it down. If you do not give us Biafra, Somalia will be a paradise compared to Nigeria. I said it. Have you not seen it? Today, Nigeria is a worse place to live than Somalia. Go and check the terror index. As I told you, it will happen. When we say this, because some of you, you knew when we were going to school, when we grew up, you don't, I'm not, I didn't open a Pentecostal church, so you won't fully understand, but I appreciate what we're doing, or what we're saying. But everything we say comes to, I said it. Biafra is the key. If they don't let Biafra go, believe you me, Chukwukika will destroy Nigeria beyond recognition. That what will happen in Nigeria, people will be wondering, how is that possible? Write it down on this day, February 8, 2020. That is what I said. February 8, 2020. If they don't give us, sit down and watch what is going to happen to Nigeria. You think what is happening now is lawlessness? The real one is coming. The real lawlessness is coming because God, people say, oh, God told me, God, yes, I'm telling you. Because everything I said comes to pass. I told them when I went to America, when I was at World Congress, I was telling the whole world that they are coming. Did you believe me? When I told you that they were coming, did you believe me? Have they not come? When I told you that Nigeria will be worse than Somalia, did you believe me? Go and check the terror index. It is there, in black and in white. Nigeria is a more dangerous place to live in. That we've not even started though. Some of you don't know what is in store for you. When it happens, I will tell you, I told you so on February 8, 2020. If you support one Nigeria, believe you me, Nigeria will consume you. You will be eaten alive. You will be eaten, you will be alive and breathing, and your flesh will be torn off your body. One of the 4 abducted Kaduna seminarians, his name is Nnamdi Michael. He was found dead. One Nigerian. Let's move forward in diversity. He was diversifying in Kaduna, and they killed him there. Now, let me ask people one question. And also for Yoruba journalists who write junk, of course, we are now friends. Of course, Yorubas are my brothers now, so I won't say anything against them. But I'm just saying, there are still some from Kwara State. With due apology. There are some remnants, some die-hard Fulani apologists from Kwara. They're in Lagos, somewhere. Still writing junk against Biafra and trying to promote their one Nigeria. And I have this question for them. Nnamdi Michael is an Igbo man. I call him a man, of course. He's trained to become a priest. He was killed in Kaduna. And some of you don't know it is actually an abomination to bury one of us outside our ancestral home. Some of you don't know this, but I refer you also back to the scriptures, I call it the Torah. Forget about all this thing. But for the purpose of should I say, brother understand, let me say the Bible. Even when Jacob died in Egypt, they took him back to the same land of his father, of Abraham. The same land of his father, Isaac. Have you not noticed? They don't bury us abroad. My mother died in Germany. She was flown back to be buried in the land of her ancestors. Do you understand that? That is who we are. But this Nnamdi Michael has been buried in Kaduna. We are praying for God to forgive us of the crimes we have committed. We are even committing more abomination on top of it. He's been buried in a seminary ground in Kaduna. Who killed him? Let me ask this question to Yoruba people. Yoruba, not all of you, those who have not yet repented, still the very bad ones amongst you. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that if Biafrans took up arms and formed a terror group, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4, what would you do? Every Biafran would have been killed, everybody slaughtered. I remember DW, Deutsche Welle, coming to interview me, saying, are you not putting the lives of Biafrans at risk in the north by this your agitation? Mere agitation for Biafra. They gave us quit notice in the north. If we hijack 2 or 3 buses containing Fulani people and slaughter them, throw their bodies in the River Niger, what do you think will happen to us in the north? I'm asking Yoruba journalists this very question. What do you think will happen to Biafrans in the north? If it were Biafrans that formed Boko Haram, Fulani headsmen, ISIS in West Africa, Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, tell me what would have become of us today. There will be no single Biafran existing. They will kill everybody. But Fulani are the principal funders of 4 major terror groups in the world. On top of that, they're telling you who's going to be president and who's going to be vice. Now, I want you, as I keep saying, go and look at yourself in the mirror. As you're looking at yourself, you should be asking God, why did you create me so stupid? And by so doing, put me in Nigeria. Go to the mirror and believe you me, you will change. By tomorrow, you become a better person. Go to the mirror, look at yourself. And ask yourself, God, why did you make me so stupid that I am part of one Nigeria? I ask you again, listen carefully to my question. All of you clamoring for one Nigeria, talking rubbish against IPOB, which I love anyway. I love criticism, believe me, I love it. It spurs me on every blessed day. I love it. Ask yourself, if it were the Igbos or the Jaws kidnapping Yoruba people, kidnapping Fulani, kidnapping Hausa, kidnapping Bagi, and killing them at will, raping their mothers, cutting off their head, saying, what do you think everybody else would do? Simple question. You can't answer. One little coup in 1966, organized by the officer class from every tribe, every ethnic group in the zoo, they conducted a coup. After that coup, should I say failed, they used it as a pretext to slaughter 300,000 Biafrans in the north. 300,000 were killed in the north. A coup that involved the death of a few people. But look at Boko Haram. When they started, their signature attack was St. Michael's Church. What's it again? Is it Mubi? St. Michael's Catholic Church. They know that Biafrans go there to worship. They attacked it. Here was their signature outing. I think it was Christmas Day bombing. I was in 2000 and... I've forgotten the year. I think Deputy will remind me in a second. Remember it? People died. We brought them back to Anambra. We were crying and saying, oh, this family has been wiped out. Oh, can you see there are no more? After that, we foolishly packed our bags and went back to the north. Today, what they are now doing is since you're not here, they wait for you on a bus. As you're coming back, they offload you and they kill you. All you do is you go to Channels TV, you go to AIT, you go to one of those idiotic talk shows you have in the zoo that makes no sense. And you'll be there talking rubbish. We need to move this country forward. We need to look at insecurity in the country. All of you are frightened to say that it is the Fulani who are doing the killings. You are frightened to say the truth. You are frightened to say that the Fulanis are savages. These are savages from the darkest recesses of hell. You cannot say it because you're all cowards. Those of us in IPOB risking our lives, doing everything we can to enlighten the whole world about what is happening. You're there saying, this thing that they are doing. That shows your level of stupidity and idiocy. I have heard some of them speaking or talking at a gathering somewhere in Lagos regarding what is happening in Imo State. Governor of Imo State. And people just, some call him Excellency. And I said to myself, no, this is not the Igbo race. This wasn't the Igbo race that we read about, that Professor Donatus Ibenwaga taught me about. This is not this are chaff. This is not any. You want to have this is not Igbo race. It's not, God forbid. The original Igbo race never tolerates evil. Never. I said never. They never tolerated evil, regardless of who you are. They never, ever tolerated evil. Some people are calling Hope Uzodinma Excellency. And you're telling me that these are Biafrans, they have the blood of our ancestors in their veins. Is that what you're telling me? Of course not. Such nonsense must stop. They have killed the seminarian, he's dead. His name is Nnamdi Michael. Dead, abducted them, and they slaughtered them. And tomorrow you talk about one Nigeria. Let's move our country forward. I say, may shame be your portion now and forevermore. Shame befall you and befall your family and your household. You are evil. Anybody preaching one Nigeria is evil. It's working for Lucifer. You are evil. You are Satan incarnate. Shall never be well with you. May what Nnamdi Michael went through, may your children suffer it. May your grandchildren suffer it. May they be beheaded at the hands of Fulani, wild beasts and terrorists in the north. Listen carefully. I preached before for World Igbo Congress in America. This very next item we are going to look at is for the zoo. Those that call themselves Nigerians. Those who sat there, they are there. Their house is burning. They are killing their military in Borno, seizing their vehicles, overrunning villages. The same army, the same Nigerian army, with their one-star general, is in my village patrolling the venue of a funeral service, burial ceremony. Burial ceremony. Now, I want people to begin to appreciate the depth of evil in the zoo. You're telling me that ISIS in West Africa, they call them ISWAP, they killed 3 soldiers, 3. They seized 2 military vehicles in Borno. This is according to their paper in the zoo, Punch. Nothing is happening in the north. The soldiers who are meant to be fighting insurgency is in my village, in my compound, patrolling, circulating every day. And you're telling me that such a place is a nation, is a country, that they deserve to have a flag flying. A country of supposedly 200 million people. Are you telling me that 200 million people can be so daft and useless at the same time? Is that what you're telling me? That 200 million people can be so stupid that terrorists are killing your soldiers. Those soldiers are in a peaceful, quiet village in Biafland, perambulating. And when I say there's something wrong with the brain of a black man, people don't understand it. There are vehicles we have seized in Bron. The fighters from the Islamic State of West Africa province, they stormed into the town of Askira late on Friday. That was last week. They went in a dozen pickup trucks, guns blazing everywhere. Nobody is holding them responsible. Nobody is blaming the Fulani for what is happening. They closed your borders in the south. That is how stupid the south is. So useless, so pathetic and so useless. They come, they shut your borders in the south. They open their borders in the north. Nobody knows who is a Nigerian citizen anymore or not. Terrorists are coming in their droves, abducting and killing you. And you come out the next day, let's work on the security of the nation. Let's try and bring the nation together. I don't think you're a human being. All of you that think that way. All of you. None of you are, honestly. The military is in the north, killing people. No, the terrorists are killing them in the north. They themselves are busy killing people who are unarmed in the east. I cannot rationalize this. I cannot understand it. There is war front, there is war raging. Their mothers and their wives are in IDP camps where the soldiers are raping them. Is there in the news? You know this very well. Instead of those from the north to recall their army in Biafra and say to them, what are you doing there? The battle is here in the north. They left them. Oh, he's Nnamdi Kanu. He wants to stop us from taking oil money and gas money from Biafra land. And you're looking at Nnamdi Kanu, looking at IPOB, the more of you end up in IDP camps, the more your local governments are taken. But if you recall all those soldiers they put along all those checking points, all those idiotic places that they occupy, maybe you stand the chance of defeating insurgency. You don't know that God is miraculous. You don't know that we serve is miraculous. As you're busy in Biafra and roaming around aimlessly like the idiots that you are, your land is being ravaged by terrorists, being taken. If you don't know, that is how daft they are in the zoo. A bunch of hopeless people. When I call them a zoo, they say, oh, he's insulting us. He's insulting. I'm not insulting you. I am telling you the truth. Tell me a country where their soldiers are being killed, helicopters being shot down, villages being sacked, ravaged. You allow somebody will sit in their office in Abuja at the military command and say, today we are deploying soldiers now to Nnamdi Kanu's compound in Isiama Faruku. What is the reason? Is there any war going on there? No. They're about to bury their parents. Let's go there and fight a war. God in heaven. And you claim you have brain in your skull? You're telling me that all those ambassadors that they have in Nigeria, somebody's telling me that all those, the German ambassador, the British, don't they see all these things? The US ambassador, don't you people see this travesty going on? Are you blind to the idiocy of the zoo, what they are doing? Are you that foolish that you cannot see what is happening in the zoo? You give them support Mike Pompeo gave them 40 million a few days ago to support them in the north in what they are doing. But the 40 million is being spent sending troops to peaceful area to go and kill innocent people, whereas terrorists are in the north ravaging the whole place. And you're telling me that such people are human beings? Is that what you're trying to convince me? You're telling me that we Africans, we are normal? You think I'm going to pet you? Oh, I'm black, I'm proud. Rubbish. Your brains are empty. You cannot reason. Because if you can reason very well, there is no way you produce cocoa in Africa and import chocolate from Western Europe. If your brain is normal, there is no way you can have all the natural and mineral resources you have in Africa and you're drowning in the Mediterranean. There is one simple reason for it. We are daft. Daft to the core. What did you say? Oh, I have PhD. I went to this school. I went to that. Your brain is empty. The collective is what matters. Collective, not you as an individual. A lesson that World Igbo Congress must learn. A lesson they ought to learn. That in America, I know more from I'm a pharmacist, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse. I own my own business. Just you. The day you die, your children will go and marry Mexicans and your name will be gone forever and ever. Mad people everywhere. They are Benin. Kidnappers open fire, abduct passengers on Lokoja Abuja Highway. Vanguard newspaper. These are what I'm telling you. You know, before they will say, oh, they fabricated the story. It's Biafrans. They are fabricating story. It's from their paper in Nigeria. Nigerian newspaper, daily. Vanguard. Kidnappers open fire, abduct passengers on Lokoja Abuja. Why can't the army in Biafra and the army in my father's compound, why don't they go and patrol those? That is their job. Go and patrol Lokoja Abuja Highway. They won't. Because they are all in the same game together. They are all terrorists, all of them. They have one agenda to Islamize and to enslave all of us. Forget all their nonsense. Once in a while, Sultan of Sokoto will come out. We need to maintain tolerance, all of us. They know what they are doing. Of course. They are chewing you away, alive, and are blowing soothing breeze. One person is a Buratai is there conducting or waging a jihadi war against Biafrans. And they bring out Sultan. We are one people, religious unity. That buffoon, go on. Let's pray for one Nigeria. His own village is gone. If you doubt me, go and ask T.Y. Danjuma. Is Plateau not gone? Of course it's gone. They've taken it over. It's gone. Because they were busy fighting their friends from the east instead of facing the raw enemy from the north. They say police fight back, rescue some passengers, arrest 4 kidnapper members or whatever they call it, people belonging to the gang. But nobody, you cannot hear Wole Soyinka or somebody ask. Or their Senate House or whatever rubbish they call it, House of Reps, ask the question. If we are having insecurity in the north, people are being abducted and being killed, beheaded every blessed day. What is the army doing in Isiama Afaroku at the home of Nnamdi Kanu? What is the army doing there? Let the army justify what they're doing there. But they won't ask. And that is why they are dying. They think that they can mock God. You know who God is in heaven? Watch and see what is going to happen. Zoo will be decimated. Write it down now. I don't believe in, I'm not Mbaka or any of these idiots. Brand envelope prophecy. What I tell you is what is going to happen. I speak with the divine authority from heaven. I'm telling you that the zoo, you see, God in heaven will destroy Nigeria beyond recognition. Write it down on a piece of paper. It's called implosion from within. They will eat their own flesh. What I tell you is from heaven, direct. In fact, Uche, give that clip to Amaka to distribute so they will hear it. In 2015, I said it. and made it very, very clear to the whole world that it's coming. I warned you about ISIS before they came. Didn't I warn you about what is going to happen? In 2015, let me see if I can actually find the clip and play it, that the world may bear us witness. Yes, thank you very much, Solomon. Sorry, St. Teresa Catholic Church in Madala, I remember. St. Teresa's, 25th of December 2011, when they planned to get rid of Jonathan. President Goodluck Jonathan was in office. This was the opening salvo that we have come. You must be gone. I went to Sweden. Some of you don't know I went to Sweden. I spoke to a very powerful journalist in Sweden. I asked him what is happening. He said, oh, Jonathan cannot tackle the insurgency and the terrorism. We need an ex-general who can do it. I said, from here in Sweden, you know an ex-general who can do it. And it's Buhari. At that time, I knew, of course, what the zoo does best. They have shared all their money. I keep saying it all the time. The reason why the U.S. ambassador, UK High Commissioner, EU ambassador to Nigeria, the reason why they don't file accurate reports back to their home country is because once you assume that position, they give you money. $1 million in an account somewhere, offshore account. They give you all the details and you go there and you take your money. So they can be killing people beside the U.S. embassy in Abuja. They will never file that report to their home country. It won't go to the State Department in America. Never. People can be... some of you saw what they did to the Shia protesters. Army came out broad daylight, lined up, and was firing at innocent people. We fought and fought and fought to separate that news all over the world. No way. America called their embassy in Abuja and asked them, is this report true? They said no, that the video is a doctored video. The erstwhile U.S. ambassador, that the video was doctored. This is what is happening in the zoo. All these ambassadors. Tell me any other country in the world, the level of insecurity you have in Nigeria today, and nothing is happening. It is only the effort we are making that is making the U.S. State Department and Trump to even speak, to say, oh, we are going to defend Christians and all that. No, we want to maintain peace in Nigeria so that the region will not collapse. Who told you the region will collapse? What was the region like before Lugard came? We want to go back to where we were before you came from Europe to colonize useless, hopeless Africans. Yeah, I know some of them will start cursing now and run away from the truth. But it's the truth. I'm telling you the gospel truth. You are all there. I'm a Nigerian. Where is my flag? Where is my badge? I'm a Nigerian. We Nigerians, be patriotic. Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not ashamed of yourself? I'm asking you. So you're telling me that a man can come from Europe and come to your land and tell you who you are. And I ask you again. Before Lugard came, before 1914, what nationality was your grandmother or your grandfather or your great-grandfather? You can't answer, can you? Because you're black, you're stupid, and you're dumb. Your brain is sealed with idiocy. You cannot reason. That is why you're proud to answer the name of a country created by a white man. Shame on all of you that call yourselves Nigerians. Shame on all of you, I say. They are killing people. No wonder. They are killing people in the north, and the army is in Isiama Faruku patrolling. That portrays, or should I say, betrays your idiocy. There are bandits hijacking luxurious buses. They are burning our markets. Some of you still pretend, oh, Nnewi market is on fire. Oh, wait, the market is on fire. Oh, Chanya market is on fire. So you don't know they're all coordinated terror attacks by the Muslims? By the Fulani terrorists? You don't know that? Not by the Muslims, please. Don't get me wrong. Not Muslims, but by Fulani terrorists. Using the name of Islam to commit impunity. Burning down our markets. Timber shade everywhere on fire. They head their cattle towards timber shade on the market. In the night, they go and they light it. If you catch them, they'll call the GOC of 82 Division. Haruna Musa. Oh, release him immediately. Release him. He released. Those arrested that went to Uzo 1 to kill people, were they not released, all of them? In Anambra, if you kill one of us, you give us 500,000. according to Governor of Anambra State, Obiano. And some of you are walking about as if everything is normal. And you're telling me that your brains are correct. Oh dear. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. The zoo is crumbling. It is on fire. Of course. Why won't it be on fire? They are playing with us. Our mission is divine. God in heaven sent us to do this very work we are doing. That is why Biafra must come. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter the amount of propaganda. It doesn't matter the amount you use to bribe all the foreign missions in Abuja and in Lagos. It doesn't matter if you've bought over CNN, bought over Financial Times, bought over Telegraph in the UK. It doesn't matter if you have bought over Associated French Press, AFP. It doesn't matter. In the end, Biafra will come. It doesn't, I'm being honest. Remember when we started? We used to tell them, I used to tell people that it doesn't matter what you do. We'll get to where we're going. Today, they have seen the light. Do you think IPOB do you think anybody can stop us? Let's be very serious. Do you think anybody can stop us? Nobody can. Not even that wretched slave Okon says he's the CP of Abia State, police commissioner. IPOB should not come to Isiaba Farouk. They shouldn't come to Umuahia. They've been designated a terrorist group. The idiot is there and the Fulani headsmen are killing people in his village. He is wearing police uniform in Umuahia, talking like an animal without a brain. These are the idiots that we have. His name is Okon. He's a Biafran. But he needs to serve his masters in the north. And, sometimes I begin to how did the Fulanis actually manage to get people in this position? How did they manage to do it? How? How did they manage to do it? Some of you are just moving about aimlessly and sheepishly on a daily basis without the capacity to reason or to think for yourselves. Very, very sad indeed, I say. Extremely sad. Extremely sad, I'm telling you. Very, very sad indeed. Okon, they shouldn't come. But Fulani herdsmen are going about killing people every day. In Abia State, you've done nothing. They rape, they kill, they pillage. You do nothing. It's peaceful IPOB coming for burial. There, you want to come and stop us now. But I'm saying this live on air to the whole world so they know. So that when you want to call me a terrorist, you can say it with every ounce of conviction. I am saying this to the governor. I won't say the governor, to the Commissioner of Police in Abia State, Mr. Okon. I'm saying it so the world can hear. If anything happens to any IPOB member on the 14th of February, all your children will be killed. If you like, you try. If you like, you try. Any army officer, I saw one in army jeep with one red star. We'll find your name. Any commander, I'm letting the whole world know. I want Britain to know. So when it happens, I'll be arrested. I want to be arrested. I want to go to a law court in England to argue this very matter. If they kill anybody in my father's compound on the 14th, I swear to God in heaven, every commander, everybody in charge of any platoon or division that fired that shot, your children will be dead. We will hunt them down wherever they are in the world. We will slaughter them in broad daylight. We'll go to prison. Then you will see how painful it is to lose a child violently. Try us and see on the 14th. We're not going to drag this issue. We're not dragging it. Commissioner Okon, are you hearing me? I said, come to Isiama Faruku and kill somebody on the 14th of February 2020. I assure you before the end of this year, we'll find your children, your wife will murder all of them, will slaughter all of them. Put it on record, that's what I said. Mad people. Now you will see madness. We have left the people alone. We are not armed. We have not killed anybody. We have not. Look at the protest we go on. Has anybody ever reported that anything is missing? Do you know we are IPOB? Do you know why they call us Umuchineke? Do you know the reason why they call us that? Because our mission is spiritual. It is not carnal. It is not something that money can buy. We are not looking at material things. We are looking at the message from heaven that the children of God in Biafra must be free. That is what we are doing. Leave us alone to do our thing. Defeat us with the weight of your argument. You're busy. Any evil you shoot them dead. Oh, because we've been quiet. 14th of February 2020 is the Rubicon. Come to Afara and kill somebody. All of you, including Buratai, will hunt your children, then will kill them. You people are very good at saving recording. Save this one. Because when it happens, you will tell Britain or you will tell USA. When it comes in, arrest him. He did this. I will gladly submit myself for arrest. Let us go to court. And then the court will ask you what were you doing in his village. Mad people everywhere. Useless. Come to Isiama Faruku on the 14th and kill somebody. I swear to God, this Shuko Kavam I worship and I praise. I swear to him, from Buratai down, all your children will be killed. And I'm giving an order tonight. You must find where the children live, all of them. Every police commissioner, every commander, 82 division, airborne division in Igwacha, everywhere. Find me their children, where they are schooling, where they are living, all of them, find them. Let us show them our own madness. Because they have shown us madness, we will now show them double madness, that we are insane. When I said I'm insane for Biafra, they don't understand. Now I will show them how insane I am. Their children will be killed. I am telling you this. Come to Afra and shoot on the 14th. You see what will happen to you. All of you, one after the other. Okon, I'm warning you. I'm placing you on warning. I'm letting, because before I do something, I tell you what I'm going to do before I do it. I'm telling you now, come to Afara and kill somebody in my father's compound, my father and my mother's burial. Your own children will die. You can't bury them. Those who are good at issuing quit notice, prepare to issue quit notice. If your soldiers come to Isiama Faruku to kill anybody, then you issue quit notice in the north. All those who are encouraging Fulani Janjaweed in our land to be doing what they are doing, all their impunity, killing. Have we killed anybody? Have we gone to war with any? Have they not formed their Amoteku? Do you not support them? Even the Shege Dampanza, whatever rubbish they formed in the north, we are in support of it. Leave us alone. We are not armed. Leave us alone. This idea of police coming to people's houses, going to my lawyer's home to go and kill people, that nonsense should stop. If you come to this, I'm telling you, I want the zoo papers to write it down, what I said on this very day, on this very broadcast. If you come to Isiama Africa and fire one shot, every commander, that commander that led them to say, shoot, you're not shooting at terrorists in the north. You've come to my village to shoot people. At my own parents' funeral, you will bury your own children. From Buratai, if you like, go and hide them in Saudi Arabia. We are there. Go and hide them. That time you will not have fun. Ask yourself this question. You think that Boko Haram, they are fanatics. In IPOB, we are madder than they are. Come and shoot. Then it can result to war in a few weeks' time. Then you'll be issuing invitation to people. Come, I want to bury my children. They have been killed. That thing you want, you people want, you will see it. Including Ohaneze and the governors. That thing you want, you will see it. Since you people are women, you are so useless. You are so useless, you have no mouth. An idiot, an ill-educated bastard will come from the north into our land with military convoy and be killing people, and you keep quiet. All of you, you will see what will happen. Come to Isiama Faruku and shoot. And you will see what will happen to you. We're not going after just only your children. So you know what it means to buy casket. You know what it means to weep. Your names will be wiped off from the face of this earth. Your name will no longer exist. Come and try us then, and you will see. Before, we've left, we go to pray in the field, you come and you kill us, you go. We go somewhere, we kill us, we go. In my own father's compound, my father's burial, my mother's burial, you want to come and kill people in my compound? Come, we are waiting for you. Mad people everywhere. Have you heard people before complain that we abducted people, that we killed anyone? We are preaching the gospel of peace and Biafra restoration. You cannot handle it because of your waywardness, your backwardness, your illiteracy, and your savagery. You do not understand what is called public discourse. You don't understand it. You cannot defeat us in a debate. That is where anywhere you say, yeah, they're terrorists. We filed an appeal for nearly 3 years now. You are there dribbling and deceiving yourselves after obtaining ex parte motion. Shameless zoo, shameless country run by idiots, left, right, and center. Mad people everywhere. Is it only us who are complaining? I keep saying this. My deputy tells me all the time, don't say it, don't say it. I'm sure now he'll be wondering why am I saying this out in the open. Deputy will tell me, Ucheme, for my deputy. Very good man he is anyway, by the way. Don't say it. Don't say that Buhari is there. Listen, Buhari is dead. It's Jubril who is there. It is the message. It is the truth. I must preach the truth. The world may not want to hear it, but I am under instruction that as long as I'm behind this microphone, the truth must be spoken. The truth must be preached. And that is precisely what we are doing. Don't take my word for it. Some of you ignorantly and foolishly in the zoo. Look at that young man they sent to Ethiopia. They say he's Buhari. I can't, let me tell you why I despise the way black people reason in Africa. I am the #1 self-critical person. I criticize myself. I'm myself included. Let me tell you why I lost respect for black people. 2 things. You see, 1914 amalgamation, so-called creation of Nigeria in 1914, and Jubril al-Sudani. Those 2 things made me realize the depth of the stupidity of your average Nigerian, regardless of how many degrees you have. Now, ask yourself this question. If the real Buhari were to be alive, what would Aisha Buhari be doing saying things are getting out of hand in Nigeria? I can't understand. Where we come from, there's an adage, you know, when we are small, our parents, they will raise us with proverbs and adage to make you, they tell you fairy tales, you know, regarding tortoise and frog and all the rest of it, so that you have some sense. You brain, you can reason. It's called discernment. You can discern. You can read between the lines. You're telling me in a country full of professors, about 9.8 million professors in the zoo, the wife of a so-called president is coming out and telling you things are getting out of hand. This happened a while. This is getting out of hand in Nigeria. And all of you are quiet. Everything is normal. And I'm asking you, if Melania Trump will come out and say that things are getting out of hand in America, what do you think will happen to the husband? Yeah? His poll rating will dive down immediately. He will be removed from office. This is the wife of your so-called president. A president with without makeup. He looks like a 42-year-old. Look at his hands. One day his nose is big. The next day his nose is small. All of you are blind. Some journalists even can bring out, that time they started with the plastic surgery on his nose. That one, his nose is so flat. I said, this is Buhari. And I look at, and I say, God, why did you mix me with, who are these people? Who are these people that cannot reason? Why am I amongst them? I'm telling you the truth. Why I ask myself, God, why am I amongst these people who cannot reason? Don't you have another use for me? Can't you ask me to do something else? Why am I with people who cannot reason? Aisha is saying things are getting out of hand in Nigeria, and people are so sheepishly blind that they cannot put 1 and 1 together to give them 2. Very, very sad indeed. But we are here to educate them. We are here to educate them. Some of you don't know why Trump banned some people from the zoo from entering USA. It's because of their track record of terrorism. Abdul Muttalib, is he from where? Is he not Fulani boy from the north? The shoe bomber. They want to go and bomb America. And I'm saying to Britain, have you ever caught any Biafran in a terrorist act before? I keep asking Britain, why do you have this hatred? Where did this hatred come from for Biafra? I keep asking Britain this question all the time. What is the hatred? We believe in, you brought Christianity. Some of us believe in, some of our people believe in the Jesus Christ you gave them. We even have an Anglican church. My parents' body will be taken to Anglican church, St. Andrews. He's even asking St. Andrews in Isiama Faruku. Yet you hate, oh my God. God, doesn't make any sense to me. There is something wrong somewhere. You brought Christianity to us. You told us about all these things, weird and wonderful things in the New Testament. But you went to the north, they asked you not to preach Christianity, to accept Quran. You did. And when you are living, you gave rulership to those with the Quran. But Britain is supposedly a Christian country. People are dying. Prince Charles could not make it to Jos. They said it's unsafe. He ran back to the UK. That is the mess you created. But the most annoying thing is that those who are living in the mess, those who are living in the iniquity, those who are living in the mire, in the darkness of poverty and deprivation, they themselves cannot see it. Which always leads me to wonder, are these human beings with brain in their skull? That is why they cannot debate me. They can't debate me. They know they cannot last. I'm telling you, they cannot last for 2 minutes. They'll be vaporized. They can't, because they have no brain. They are animals in a zoo. They are called Nigerians. They cannot reason. There is war going on in the north, soldiers being killed, helicopters shot down, your mothers and your children in IDP camps, but your army is in my village patrolling. And you tell me that they are normal. You tell me that they have common sense. I want to see if I can find that very, I wouldn't call it prediction, because it's a message I give to the world. If you listen to it, you'll be saved. If you listen to it, you will be saved. They said our satellite is down. They said, of course they will stop it. That's what they always do. Our satellite is down. They fight us everywhere, but are we not winning? They fight us, are we not winning? Do we care, really? Mazi, your former, you go and check, please get hold of him. They said our satellite is down. They said our satellite is down. Our satellite is down. Our satellite is down. That is what they said. Very, very sad indeed. Exceptionally sad indeed. Extremely sad. Very, very sad indeed. Very, very sad. We want our satellite to be up and running. Mazi form, should look into it, please, Deputy, as well. If it is now back online, I want to be notified. I want to be told. Our app is also not working. They have taken it down as well. You see how they're fighting us everywhere. I got information. Our app is not working. I want to know if the app is up and running again. Please do let me know. Our satellite is not working. Our app is not working. I do not know what is happening. I do not know. I do not know. We shall try again. We shall try again and try and see if this can be rectified. They are seriously attacking us, and we are going to fix it. We will fix it. Of course, we will fix it. We will fix it. We are trying all we can to try and fix it from there. We can go to Facebook and join us on Facebook, please. You can go and join us on Facebook. Go and join us on Facebook if you can. This is Radio Biafra. We are live and we are direct. We are trying to connect. It is not allowing us to do so. It is not allowing us to do so. We are trying to go back to make sure that we connect. It is not allowing us to do so. Not allowing us at all to do so. This is Radio Biafra. You must bear with us. You must bear with us, please. You must bear with us. The enemies are working overtime, but we are defeating them. We are defeating them. There's absolutely nothing they can do about it. There is nothing they can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Please, Deputy, you must also check your side, because it seems to me that our main platform is down. Our main platform is down, and we are trying to fix. This is Radio Biafra. The time now is, I think we almost, is 8:30, isn't it? It is almost 8:30. We are trying to, that's in Biafra land. We are trying to fix this very problem. He's saying cannot connect live. It cannot connect. It cannot connect. And this is going to throw us off a little bit, because it is not doing it. It is not doing it. It is not doing it. I am trying to make sure that they are attacking our main software we use to broadcast. They are attacking it. Our main software. They are attacking our main software. Our satellite is okay. Please ask people to please go to Facebook. I don't know if there's any other place we are streaming this very broadcast live. They should go on Facebook to be part and parcel of this very effort we are making. Part and parcel of it. Part and parcel of it, please. This is Radio Biafra. We are live and we are direct. And the whole world is listening. They have attacked our main source that we use. You know, that's how the zoo spend money. They say there is no money to take care of the poor. And of course, 95% of the zoo is very poor. But they have money to be chasing IPOB and Radio Biafra all over the place. They know that this broadcast will be earth-shattering. They know it. They know it's Armageddon. They know it. That is why they are fighting very hard to try and attack us. And they're attacking us from source. But we must continue. Headsmen have hacked to death 3 policemen in Delta. Fulani headsmen have killed 3 policemen in Delta. There is no quit notice for Fulani people in the east, no quit notice in the west, no quit notice in the middle belt. But their reign of impunity continues across the board. That is from their own paper as well, the Nation newspaper. That is from their own newspaper as well, The Nation. Please, you must spread this very message, please. If you are connected on the Facebook stream, please make sure that our people receive it. Call people closer to where you are and ask them to join you, please. Ask them to join you to listen to this very broadcast, because our enemies have struck us right at the source. It has never happened before. It is happening now. We must try and fix this problem tomorrow. They said they are suspected headsmen. They have hacked to death 3 policemen along Ubolu-Ela Road in Oshimili, North Local Government Area of Delta State. Hacked to death. But they're in my village patrolling. Policemen are being killed. A police commissioner is telling you that people shouldn't attend burial ceremony. People are being killed. And the policeman is telling you that people should not attend a burial ceremony, that they'll be fired upon. But you cannot fire the terrorists who are killing your fellow police officers. You cannot. Very sad indeed. We are under serious attack this very evening, but we are continuing to preach our gospel. It must be preached, and we'll play it tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, until the whole world hears it. They said here, an eyewitness said the 3 policemen were attempting to stop a motorcycle carrying 2 men who refused to stop. One of the police officers pulled out his gun to threaten them. They refused to stop, and eventually he fired. Immediately they stopped and moved towards the policemen. They shot 2 policemen, and one of the Fulani pulled out a dagger and stabbed the 3rd policeman to death in Delta State. But if you ask the police commissioner in Delta, what is your problem? He will say it's IPOB. It's those people following in Nnamdi Kanu, they're my problem. But in that same division where he is the overall commanding officer, his fellow Fulanis have hacked to death 3 people. And Commissioner of Police Okon is in Umuahia, Zone 9, talking rubbish. These are the type of people you have in Africa. Morons. When they call us names abroad, we complain and say, oh, they are being racist. They are being racist. But we brought some of this nonsense upon ourselves. Our stupidity, in fact, is staggering. I'm telling you. 3 policemen are dead. 3 policemen dead. And people are busy looking for IPOB. Everywhere is on fire in the zoo. They are falling left, right, and center. And you know what they have done? Listen to Nigeria. After killing 3 policemen, after raping and pillaging and destroying and basically abducting, kidnapping people at will and killing them, you know what happens to Boko Haram and to Fulani headsmen and to ISIS in West Africa and to Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb? They grant them amnesty and recruit them into the army. And the army office actually went on record to say that if you want to be president of Nigeria, as repent as an ex-militant, as ex-terrorist. An ex-terrorist has more chance of becoming the president of Nigeria than an Igbo man. That's what the man opened his mouth and said, an army officer. That if you can achieve anything, just lay down your weapons, come out, you can be the president of Nigeria. Somebody who has spent his life blowing up people, killing, pillaging, rampaging, abducting, slaughtering, beheading soldiers and policemen. An army officer came out and said, oh, don't worry, he can be the president of Nigeria. But an Igbo man living peacefully somewhere cannot be the president of Nigeria. An Efik man living somewhere peacefully cannot be president of Nigeria, no. And a Bibio man living somewhere very peacefully, no, he cannot be a president of Nigeria. But once you are an ex-terrorist, you have fought for the Fulani jihad. You have killed, slaughtered Christians, killed Biafrans living in the north. You can now put your guns down, or your gun down, and vie to become the president of Nigeria, and you win. Meanwhile, Arewa Consultative Forum, Northern Elders Forum, they are busy saying, no Igbo man can be president, but a terrorist that specializes in killing people, that killed Igbo people in Madala, can become the president of Nigeria. And you're telling me that such a country deserves to exist? You must be out of your mind. I'm telling you. The grand amnesty. What have the so-called sociocultural gathering, those cowardly vultures, what have they done? Nothing. It's only to issue statement. They write to Guardian newspaper, Dear Guardian newspaper of Nigeria, we are not happy with the granting of amnesty to Boko Haram and to terrorists. We are not happy. This will divide Nigeria. Something should be done. And that's the end of story. That is the end of the story. It is finished. That is the type of country that some of you live in. That is the type of country that some of you exist in. That is the type of country that some of you say, oh, I'm a Nigerian, I'm very, very proud. What does that tell you about your brain, the way you reason, the way you think, the way you articulate issues? Granting amnesty to murderers, to killers, to rapists, but coming to Isiama Faruku to do Python Dance 8. I don't know what other name can... I don't know if Python dance at a funeral service. I have no idea. Somebody should tell me. Go and share, please. Share this. If you're listening on Facebook, you share the link. Very, very important, please. Absolutely important. Absolutely critical. Very, very vital. Very, very important. What have they said about the raging insecurity in the zoo? Because they are the ones. They, look at them. Tanko Yakasai, or whatever his name is. Those glorified Alamajiri in the north. They are spokespeople. Buhari must bring in fresh hands, insecurity. Who are they? I keep asking my Yoruba friends to ask themselves and their conscience, who are the people causing insecurity in Nigeria? Why are you people afraid to say it is the Fulani? They cause insecurity, not just by going about and killing, raping, and pillaging. They create insecurity as well by disobeying their own laws. The government itself is the architect of insecurity. They are the progenitors of insecurity. Somebody will win election, they'll go and bring somebody else and put him in power. They control the judiciary, they control the legislature, they control the police, they control the army. Throughout. They control customs, they control NDDC, they control drugs enforcement agency, they control road safety, they control customs. Have I said that before? They control Nigeria Ports Authority, they control Nigeria Airports Authority, they control basically and virtually everything. And they are also the ones in the army and in the police. Everywhere you go. I was one of the likes of Okon who are possibly cloned Fulani people. They are everywhere. And they are the ones complaining of insecurity. But they are the ones in charge. I have never seen such hypocrisy in my life. I think I read a very brilliant article written by somebody who said that the problem of Nigeria is Yorubas and Igbo people mixed together. Because they refuse to come together to work together. That is why the zoo is the way it is. And I believe him completely. I believe him. Of course, with the launch of Amotekun, we have destroyed all of that divide and rule from the north, isn't it? We have overcome them completely and totally. Completely and totally. Bringing fresh hands. Fresh hands from where? They won't promote anybody. Even if they retire Buratai for incompetence, the next person coming is another Janjaweed from the north. Another Alimajiri. So the problem continues. After all, they are the ones that created the problem in the first place. They are the ones who created the problem in the first place. Invite everybody to please come to Facebook to listen to the gospel, because our enemies have, dealt a blow this evening, but of course we'll fix it tomorrow morning. They have gone to the source to try and stop what we are doing. But we are preaching this very gospel. This is Radio Biafra. We are live and we are direct. Unfortunately, those in Iguacha cannot hear us, and all across Biafra land. By Iguacha, I mean Port Harcourt. The name is Iguacha. Harcourt is not a Biafran. Harcourt is not Ikwere. Harcourt is not Ogoni. Harcourt is not a John. In case you don't know, the name is Iguacha. That's the proper and the original name, not Port Harcourt. Viscount Harcourt, who was the Secretary of State for colonial territories, was a pedophile. I'm going to Port Harcourt. Okay, I look at them and I laugh at them because they don't know what they're doing. Do you know what is happening in the zoo? The Senate is now going to probe the closure of non-closure of land borders in the north. Non-closure, but they closed the ones in the south. Telling you it's about security. It's about rice. But the ones in the north are open. And people are moving about sheepishly and hopelessly and foolishly as if nothing is happening. And the more you indulge the Fulani, the more their iniquity deepens. Nobody can tell them what to do. They closed they came to the south, shut down the borders, and in the north, all people from Mali can come in. And now the Senate to probe. Have you heard about it again? They said the Senate will probe them. Since the 1st of February, 1st of this month, they said Senate will probe them. Have they probed the north? Why are the borders in the north open and the ones in the south closed? Nobody can ask. Nobody can talk. But you have the lives of social critics, Wole Soyinka and the rest of them. They are all over the place. Why can't they complain? Nobody can complain. But when we talk on IPOB, they start jumping up and down. Because we are the only ones with the metal who has the balls to be able to rise up and speak against injustice and iniquity in the zoo. Iniquity from Fulani headers, iniquity from Janjaweed in the north. They cannot bring that their nonsense to us. Try to Islamize us. Are they drunk? They know they can't do it. They know that IPOB is stopping them. It's only IPOB that can stop them. Remember when I told the whole world, I was telling them, if you want change, if you want restructuring, if you want change, if you want your life to improve, boycott elections. Had they boycotted elections, this nonsense that brought Hope Uzodinma to power in Imo State wouldn't have happened. It would not have happened. Why did it happen? I ask. Why did it happen? It happened because our people don't listen. They go for the cheap option all the time. The cheap option. Cheap option. In the end, they regret it. Do you know, had Nigeria boycotted elections in 2015, by now your lives would have been better. You will now sit around the table and discuss and negotiate and find out the best way to cohabit. That's for those of you interested in one Nigeria. But you don't listen because you don't reason. Even when you do listen, it goes in through one ear and it goes out through the other. It is now that PDP is telling Tanko to step down. But I warned you. Once they removed Onogen, that they were going to rig the election. I told you that. Somebody who did not study common law is Chief Justice in a country that practices common law. And you want me to respect a Nigerian? Are you drunk? You want me to respect somebody who cannot reason? Somebody studied Sharia law. He is presiding over common law jurisprudence, and you're telling me you people are okay in the brain? Of course not. It's only now they have realized. Had all of them, both of those in PDP and other parties, come to their senses to say, we must boycott. That is the only way to achieve it. Oh, no, it's your right. It's your democratic dividend. It is, what is there's another one other rubbish they say. It is the dividend of democracy. Your PVC, your card, your vote. Make your vote count. This is a new method in Imo State. They leave you, you do all your nonsense you want to do. Tanko will tell you, oh, is that our slave there? They say, yes, what's his name? Bring him to the Supreme Court. You go through appeal court will uphold the decision of INEC and all the rest of it. You come to the Supreme Court. And there and then they will say, he's our boy. Hope Uzodema is our slave, our new slave to replace Aboga Awosa, Kura Awosa. And that's it. And Imo State is gone. And monarchs in Imo State caution to withdraw lawsuit. Give us the names of those monarchs. Criminals everywhere. And tomorrow they come say, oh, we are Igbo. I won't Igbo. So they reason like fools. Like fools. They say I insult. Why won't I insult you? Are you normal? If you're normal, would I insult you? Do I insult people who are reasonable? I only insult fools who cannot reason. But I remind you that you cannot reason. It's only now that waking up. We want to replace Tanko. How can I replace Tanko? It's too late. Way too late. Way too late. Insecurity, we are in unpredictable situation. Do you know who said this? The problem in Nigeria, the insecurity, the terrorism, the chaos, the mayhem, the rape, the murder, the slaughter, the police accidental discharge, the killing of innocent people, the beheading of thousands of people on a daily basis. They call it insecurity. I call it breakdown of law and order. Do you know what the answer is? Those perambulating in my village are the army that is meant to be combating or fighting insurgency, dealing with all these problems. They are in a peaceful village circulating. We have them on camera everywhere. They think we are stupid. Once, not in front of my house, so we have them on camera everywhere. Once you approach 1 kilometer to my house, you're on camera and the whole world is watching you. I'm telling Okon, so he'll be prepared. So that once they raise their rifle to shoot at us, anything that happens, I know that day they will even pay some people and say, go to the crowd and start trouble. But we are IPOB now, aren't we? We are one family, we know who we are. Insecurity, there is problem going on in Nigeria, and Nigerian government have decided to deploy their troops to a very tiny village that is going to hold a burial on the 14th. And what is their response to the insecurity? Listen to this, Nigerians, listen. What is the response of the federal government of Nigeria to the deplorable state of life and property in that contraption? Do you know what they said? Federal government said, we are in unpredictable situation. Of course you will be in an unpredictable situation because you've gotten your priorities wrong. Soldiers that should be fighting war in the north are in the east, in Biafra land, molesting people, taking money, setting up checkpoints and roadblocks. If those 56 checkpoints you have from Iguacha to Enugu were to be established in Borno, you will eradicate Boko Haram. 56 checkpoints. I said 5-6 checkpoints from Iguacha to Enugu. 56. If they mount 56 checkpoints only from Damaturu to Meduguri, there will be no terrorism again in the north. But they are all in the east. That is the same way we come from. I know the world is listening, but they must listen and sometimes imbibe what we are saying in the oldest language in the whole world, which is Igbo language, the oldest in the whole world. That is the language that the angels speak in heaven. Asusundibo, the ancient. That is the language of heaven itself. For those who do not know. Sometimes they wonder why I mix it in my broadcast. And I said to them, with all due respect, I'm not English. I'm a British citizen, yes, but I'm not English. I'm not. And that is why sometimes I speak in the language of the ancients. And I must do so. There is insecurity in Nigeria, and the National Security Advisor, another Fulani man, Baba Gana Monguno, they're all everywhere. President Fulani, National Security Advisor Fulani, Intelligence Service Fulani, DSS is Fulani, and you're wondering why there is insecurity. People who don't go to school, and you're wondering why there is insecurity. I asked you this before. Do they have any engineers? From there, the answer is no. Do they have scientists? The answer is no. Then what makes you think that they can make any difference in your life? If you say, they say you're being, it's ethnic jingoism. But that's the new one, ethnic jingoism. Ethnic jingoism, of course. We must speak in a way that our mothers can understand us. Addressing reporters after an emergency National Council meeting, chaired by Jubril, that they call Muhammadu Buhari, the National Security Advisor said that the security challenges were multidimensional, internal, external, diplomatic, economic, and defense-related. Grammar. Ask him, Monguno, who is in charge of internal, Fulani, external, Fulani, diplomatic, Fulani, economic, Fulani, defense, Fulani? Why won't it fail? I ask. Why won't it fail? I ask you. Why won't the zoo be a failure? You allowed failures to rig themselves into office. Why won't Nigeria be a failure? You were there, you folded your arms. They released the terrorists. They terrorized all of you into submission. You got rid of Jonathan. You now have the cabal in charge. When Buhari is there, they bring another one for you. If they can do anything they like. If they like, they can change the constitution to third term. There is nothing any of you can do. You can't do nothing. You are spineless. That one said, I'm working for every life matter. I'm working for peace. But when Jonathan was there, you were protesting. Adeboye, you were protesting. These are the Muslims that later turned to Christians that idiots are following. I feel sorry for some of you, honestly speaking. I feel sorry for some of you. I think my deputy said he will go after them. I'm waiting for him to go after them because they need to be shredded and destroyed, all of them. Shredded and destroyed. Shredded and destroyed. Oh, we are fighting terrorism. We are fighting corruption. And some of you bought the nonsense that they're fighting corruption, but they are the ones who are corrupt. They say they are fighting corruption. They are the ones who are corrupt. Some of you have heard about the Malabu case, the Goje corruption cases. They say they jailed Ojo Zakalo. Ojo Zakalo is in jail. We are fighting corruption. Can't you see Ojo Zakalo is in jail? He's a Biafran, he's a Christian, so they can throw him in jail. Look at all the names of the governors they claim they have jailed from the north. They're all either John this or that. They're all Christians. Some of you don't know what is happening. This is according to independent research and analysis. That Malami, your so-called AGF, Malami, another quota product of Sharia legal system in the north, is the one who is now feeding large on Malabu corruption case and the Goje corruption scandal as well. These are the people that you see. What on they want to address him, they say the AGF, Attorney General of the Federation. A thief. This was the boy that ran to Kafrati or whoever to prescribe IPOB in the middle of the night. They just went there and said, oh, in our view, Jubril said he should be prescribed. These people are giving us problem. Ohaneze is in support. Governors are in support. Prescribe, and they prescribed. No court hearing. No evidence was tendered, none whatsoever. That was how I feel sorry. I feel sorry for Nigerians. I feel sorry for you because the burden you're carrying, of course, that load you're carrying is made up of stupidity anyway. Ignorance. Before you shift it will be very difficult. These are the people fighting corruption. These are the people that told you that fight. It's a good thing that Abacha loot keeps coming back. You know, it's embarrassing for them. It reminds them of how corrupt they are. Abacha loot keeps coming back. They remind you of how corrupt those people are. Vertojus Okalu is in jail. Gandola is the very corrupt Kaduna State governor. Or the Kano State governor is all over the place as a celebrity. That is one Nigeria for you. And the consequences of it thereof. I want to take you back a little bit. I want to take you back. It's not something that Nnamdi Kanu said, or whichever, or IPOB. This is what they're saying. I want to take you back just a little bit so you understand. We've dealt with corruption. How those who claim they're fighting corruption are even more corrupt than corruption itself. They are more corrupt than corruption itself. This Fulani gang in Abuja wreaking havoc on the economy, on the lives of ordinary men and women. Everywhere they have failed. Economy, they are a failure. Everywhere they are a failure. Economy, they have failed. Security, they have failed. Defense, they have failed. In every sphere of life, they are a failure. That I'm sure some of you will take a bribe and even recommend them next time. It was Buhari, the dead one, who stopped South African mercenaries that they actually hired during the war against Biafra. They are the ones that stopped them from fighting Boko Haram. It has been in the public domain since 2018. Independent, verifiable deposition made by these people. They are called Specialized Tax Training Equipment and Protection, STTEP. His name is Ibn Balo. He was the one that revealed how President Muhammadu Buhari stopped them from carrying the fight to Boko Haram in 2015. It was Buhari that stopped them from fighting Boko Haram. Now you understand it, don't you? This is from a white South African. They hired them to come and fight Boko Haram because, as I told you before, that Nigeria never fights its own wars. Never, ever, ever. They don't have an army. What they have is a gang of murderers, civilian murdering gang in army uniform. They're terrorists. I told you before that they cannot fight any war and win. That's why they ran to Egypt. Let's cooperate. They went to Chad. Let's cooperate. They went to Niger. Let's cooperate. They cannot fight and win any war. I'm telling you. If not for the natural, irrational hatred that Britain has towards Biafra. Because once anything starts now, the first people they will go to is Britain and get Britain to lobby for them. And Saudi Arabia will lobby for them, and then Britain to fight Biafra. Now that they can win. But it's a good thing that they have acknowledged that they are facing us diplomatically, and they are losing. They are losing. This man called Ibn Balo told the world that it was Buhari that stopped them from fighting Boko Haram. Because they themselves cannot fight Boko Haram. They went and hired mercenaries. But he said, oh, the general is in the village. He's coming back to the village today. He's in town. What's his name? He's the GOC commanding 82 Div. Big titles, big names. Very empty people. They still went to South Africa to go and hire the Specialized Tax Training Equipment and Protection Team, STTEP, headed by Ibn Balo, to come and fight their war for them in the zoo called Nigeria, because they cannot fight. They have never fought before and they can never fight. That is why they go about looking for alliances, because the Nigerian army is only good at killing civilians. That is what they are good at. Nothing more, nothing less. Which one are we going to mention? Which one are we going to leave? Which one, I say? Is very, very sad indeed. Very, very sad indeed. This is Radio Biafra. We are live and we are very, very direct. They said that the North is now a theater of violence, not by me. I didn't say it. This is from Dogara. Some of you may know him. Some of you may know him. He is the immediate past Speaker of the House of Reps. So what I'm saying to Yakubu Dogara is, he is saying that the North is the epicenter and theater of violence. The former Speaker of the House of Reps. He himself is a Northerner. Epicenter of violence. Then I ask myself, what are you people then doing in my village? What is that army doing in my village? He says this was carried by the Nation newspaper before you say we made it up. Nation reported by one Abdul Ghaffar Allah Belewe. Remember, he's from Kwara State. You know, the Fulanized Yoruba part of Kwara State. And I'm praying for them that Oduduwa Republic will come so they will see some sense. Dogara lamented that the North, and indeed Nigeria, has suffered from Boko Haram, ISIS, led by al-Banawi. And there's a new one called Ansaru. Have you heard about that one? So they now have 5 terror groups sponsored by Fulani people. Ansaru insurgency. To former header conflict, banditry, kidnapping, ethno-religious conflicts, and cattle rustling, among several others. Former Speaker of the House of Reps in Nigeria telling you that Ugwawasa North is the epicenter of violence. But to the Nigerian army, the epicenter of violence is Isiama Faruku Ibeku. You know why? And British government, they are there in Abuja, laughing and looking at them. So is the U.S. mission to Nigeria. The epicenter of violence in Nigeria is in the north. But the Nigerian army are in the east. Killing innocent people. Killing civilians. And you're telling me that Nigeria is not a zoo. A zoo is better than Nigeria. These are some of the military checkpoints between Aba and Omoy. As they are killing them in the north, the epicenter of violence is in the north. I'm going to name some of the few places. We have our cameras. Very soon, our cameras will be beaming all these things live to State Department in America. U.S. State Department will be watching every checkpoint we have in our land, live, that the world may know what is happening. How many do we have there? A stretch of only 40 kilometers. 40 kilometers. You have 23 checkpoints. 40 kilometers, 23 checkpoints in one state between Aba and Umuahia. Flyover junction at Aba, the army is there. Orata junction in Aba, army. Fulani, Motherers. Ariada junction in Aba, army is there. Enyimba junction in Aba, the army is there. Tony Mas junction in Aba, Mopol is there. Umojima junction in Aba, Mopol is there. Osisioma junction in Aba, army and Mopol combined. Tony Mas by express, police and Mopol. Umuimo junction, Mopol. Umuaduro junction, Mopol. Arongwa, everywhere you go, army and police, checkpoints everywhere. But the north is the epicenter of violence in Nigeria. But they left the north, no checkpoints in the north, all the checkpoints are in the south. All of them are in the south. And you're telling me that Nigerians are normal. They should be called human beings. They should be respected. They should be honored. They should be valued. Who told you that? Who told you that, I ask you? Who told you that? Everywhere. From Iguacha to Aba, Iguacha, which is that fools call Port Harcourt. Iguacha to Aba. How many checkpoints do we have from Iguacha to Aba? 12. Everywhere you go, checkpoints. Everywhere you go, checkpoints. And as somebody said quite cleverly, I love this. Somebody said this, and I love it so much. You know what the person said? And it's the Sultan of Sokoto. For once, he has made sense, and I agree with him. The North has everything except sense, according to the Sultan of Sokoto. Exactly what I've been saying to you people from time. You never believed me. Now it's come from the Sultan. You believe me. He said this. Well, let me just tell you what he said. He accused the northern elites. Elites is you know, the glorified Alamajiri. What's his name again? Tanko Abdullahi and Tanko Yakasai. They are the elite. Elite in Ugawasa. Oh, my goodness. He accused the northern elites of lacking sense of honesty, implementation, and qualities to organize a society that works for all. Not from me. I've been saying this. It's a good thing that the Sultan of Sokoto listens to Radio Biafra. I'm very, very glad that he listens to what we preach on this very platform. He has repented. He has seen the light. The same way that Yoruba brothers have now seen the light. That everything we've been saying is true. They have now seen it. The same way that I can tell you that even the Sultan, the Satan himself, at the epicenter of the cabal in the north, he has seen that what we are preaching is true. I'll repeat what he said, so people won't say it's coming from me. He accused Tanko Yakasai and the other one, I've forgotten his name, Junaid Mohammed. They are the northern elites. Elite over Al-Majri, elite over Babiala, elite over impoverished beggars. You say you are an elite. Where is your elitism? How have you improved the lives of your people? You're elite and you're still moving cattle from place to place, destroying people's crops and their farms. And you're elite. We are the elite. What useless elite in the north? Let me repeat what the Sultan said. Sultan accused the northern elites of lacking sense of honesty, implementation, and qualities to organize a society that works for all. In other words, all of you that claim, including Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that claim you put Buhari and now Jubril in power, you are all very foolish. That's what Sultan is saying. Because they lack the capacity. He is saying that they lack the capacity to organize a society. They do not have the capacity to organize a society. That is what the Sultan of Sokoto said, the head of the feudal system in the north. Now you will believe me, won't you? When I say something next time, you believe me. Because as I said, eventually, everything I say comes to pass. People will begin to open their eyes and their ears to receive this very gospel of redemption. Elite. It's elite. Elite for what? Are you people, what is your elitism for? If you cannot positively impact the lives of those who are on the streets, those who are poor, those who are less privileged, those who are not as educated as you are. If at all you claim you're educated. We have at the elite, they are the Second Republic senator, Third Republic, nonsense. How have your Second Republic rubbish impacted on the lives of the people who are carrying bombs today, kidnapping people, slaughtering and raping at will? You claim you're elite. You people are the ones that the Sultan is referring to. You people are the problem. You have everything, but no common sense. No common sense. And let me tell you why they have no common sense. In the midst of the condemnation of the Sultan of Sokoto, you know what they did? They all rallied around and said, oh, we are the Arewa Constitutive Forum. We are the Northern Elders. We declare support for Buhari and service chiefs. That is the Nigeria you're in. I remember when they said that Jonathan wasn't fighting corruption very well, even Edwin Clark came out to condemn Goodluck Jonathan. But I wish the South can learn something from this. So to the North, it doesn't matter what they do in office, their own is their own. But you are busy from the South, be you Biafran or be you Duduwa descendant, you are busy in the South trying to be holier than thou, you want to be objective. But those you're dealing with don't know the meaning of objectivity. They don't understand it. Insofar as the stark failure of Nigeria is apparent for the whole world to see, they still went there and felt that Jubril is under siege. Of course, they call him Buhari and the service chiefs because people were calling for their resignation. They went to Asorok to say, we are behind you. Continue with your incompetence and your failures. Continue patrolling Isama Farouk instead of going to the north to go and clear the bandits on the highways. That is Nigeria for you. That is the zoo for you. And that is why the zoo must fall. Nigeria is an abomination before God. Nigeria is a stain on the continent of Africa. Nigeria is a blight on the human race. If you don't know, you know it today. The level of stupidity prevalent in Nigeria is enough to sink any advanced civilization. What am I saying? If you pack all Nigerians and take them to America and move Americans over to Nigeria, America will sink in less than 10 years. You will recognize it. That is the extent and the level of stupidity they harbor within themselves. Or should I say within their brain. Very, very sad indeed. Very, very sad indeed. And what, they know how to defend themselves. I admire them at least in that regard. Even Al-Mustafa, that works with Wazirike's Masop, he said that Abacha didn't steal any money. You see the way you see how they roll. You see the way they roll. He said Abacha never stole any money, that it was others that stole money, not Abacha. Can you believe that? Can anyone believe that? Can anyone believe that? It wasn't Abacha that stole money, it was those before Abacha that stole money. And some of you believe him. That is how they fight for themselves. That is how they defend themselves. That is how they make a mockery of everybody. That is how they make a mockery of everybody. But some of you won't understand it, will you? Because you want your one Nigeria. You think if Nigeria breaks up, you won't get oil. I've said it many times. And I want to remind everybody that every component part of Nigeria as presently constituted will receive oil and gas for free from Biafra land. So it's not about oil. When we publish our guiding document, when we publish our testament, you will see all of it inside it. Guaranteed to be supervised by the United Nations and 5 other countries. So don't worry about that. You get your oil. Just leave us alone. It's not about our oil and gas. It's about freedom. That's what we're fighting for. Absolute freedom. It is now they know that some of you don't know you're selling oil and gas to China. You're still going to China to go and borrow money. Does that make any sense to anybody? You sell oil and gas to China. You still go to China to go and borrow money. Do you know how much they have borrowed on your head? This very incompetent Fulani regime, you will not know until you're hit with a very heavy... The day the Chinese will come and take over your forest in your village, then you realize the mess that Janjaweed have put you in. You see Jubril. Some of you are... Buhari went what last place he went to? He went to London, to Buckingham Palace. When they asked him to remove his cap, he ran away. I think today he's in Addis Ababa. That is the mess that some of you don't understand. You're in. They are borrowing money every blessed day. One day they will come and take over your ancestral lands. You start cursing China. China, you did this to her. You did it to yourself. Your hopelessness allowed an impostor from Sudan to be answering your president. Your idiocy made it possible for him to go back the second time. You have yourself to blame. Let the Chinese finish with the coronavirus. They are coming after all of you. Your land and your properties. Then you regret it. Do you know how much you have borrowed from them? Do you know how much this very incompetent Fulani regime have borrowed from China? Some of you have no idea. You're sheepishly moving about every day, saying, oh, I'm a Nigerian. Inside you and outside you, you're a property of the Chinese state, courtesy of Abaki Ariza Asorok, Fulani regime. It's not from me, you got it from Sultan of Sokoto, that they cannot organize any society. The Sultan said it, they cannot. These are the people, your Excellency, the President, Mr. President. I feel sorry for you people. They keep borrowing from China. They can never grow their own. They can never ever grow their own. They always go and borrow from other people. The latest one is 17 billion. The federal government on Tuesday explained why it decided to approach the China Exim Bank for a $17 billion loan. Ask them the oil money. Do you know the funniest thing? All the people occupying NNPC, all the oil portfolios, they're all from the north. And I can't hear the so-called Niger Delta complaining. You know, some of them, their own idiocy is even worse than an average Nigerian. Their own stupidity is immeasurable. Who are the people in charge of all the oil sector areas you have in the zoo? All Fulani, NNPC, Ministry of Petroleum. Everywhere you have them. No wonder all the sales coming from the shipment of oil and gas, none is hitting the treasury. If they are getting money from oil and gas, why would they be borrowing 17 billion from China? 17 billion. And you ask yourself, how are they going to pay back? Let me hear any of you complain against China when they come for you. Then you will know something. Keep voting. In the next, is it next 4 years you go back? 2023, you go back and vote. You go back and vote 2023. It's the turn of your ancestors then. And there are mad lunatics everywhere. This is Radio Biafra Live and we are direct. They want to implement a confab report. That is their business. That is not our business at all. They keep burning down your markets, but you do not know that, do you? They burn your markets, you say nothing, they rape your mothers, you say nothing, they behead your priests, you say nothing, they go to Zowan and they sack everywhere, nothing. They are fighting us in Eboy. You do nothing. And you're praying for one Nigeria. My goodness, it's very, very painful. Extremely painful. Extremely painful what we have to go through. Some of you may have heard about the people that we are boasting that they have 4 wives, 5 wives. I want to use this very thing as an example of why we cannot live in the same country with these people. I want you to listen to me very carefully. We adopted the British system of one man, one wife, recognized by law. But in the north, you have people who are marrying 4 wives. And my question is this. Can any Nigerian tell me any country in the world where you have such disparity in marriage laws? Show me one country in the world. If you go to USA, can you marry 2 wives in America? Regardless if you're Muslim, if you're atheist, if you're Christian, if you're Jew, regardless of who you are, can you marry more than 1 wife in America? You go to jail. It's called bigamy. You go to prison. Can you marry 2 wives in America, or in Mexico, or in Britain, or in Germany? The answer is no. It's only 1. But in Saudi Arabia, you can marry 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And as well in most other Muslim countries. Now, you come to Nigeria. Those in the south believe in 1 man, 1 wife. At least the modernists, those who came after 1960. But in the same country, in the north, you have people marrying 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you are in the same country, operating under 1 law, under 1 constitution. Yet you have diverse marriage laws. That a man brought the 4 wives to the chambers of the House of Reps, House of Representatives, boasting that he has 27 children. Now you understand the mess you're in. I will ask you again. Tell me one country where it is the law, or should I say the accepted norm, where a part of the country believes that marrying 1 wife is good and another part believes that marrying 4 wives is good. That means that there is a dichotomy in Nigeria that can never ever be reconciled. So anybody telling you about unity, moving together, developing the country together is not your friend. You cannot develop a country together where some people are marrying 1 wife, giving birth to 2 or 3 kids, whereas some other people are having 4, 5, 6 wives, giving birth to 27 children. Is that fair? And if you agree that it is not fair, then how can we be in the same country together? Let us to even consider it for a moment. Marrying the 2 laws together.
One is monogamy, one is polygamy in the north. How do you reconcile the two? There are irreconcilable differences. That was what we've been preaching from day one, that we have so much divergence in our value system that we cannot be one nation. It is impossible. It is impossible. Others believe in appointing a Sharia student or a Sharia law graduate into the position of a justice. We don't believe in it. We believe that somebody who has been schooled through common law should be a chief justice. How do you reconcile the two? How? I don't understand. How do you reconcile it? How would you like a Sharia judge to preside over your case? Using Sharia legal technicalities and terms of reference to determine, or to settle a dispute or a case that was either committed or commissioned under a common law system. How does that work? So you're telling me now you can go and take a Grand Cadi from Saudi Arabia and take him to Minneapolis or Indiana in America and send him to the Sixth Circuit Court to go and preside. That's what it means. It's like going to Afghanistan. You bring a mullah from Afghanistan. You say to the mullah, please, Mullah Omar, come to New York and become a district judge in New York. Is that going to work? I want people to, these UG black people, to reason for once. Try and reason. What would a Sharia judge be doing in a... Are you telling me that Britain, that gave us common law system, that Britain can now go to maybe Oman and pick up somebody from there and say this is a Sharia judge, is schooled in Quran, to come to the Old Bailey to preside over a case? It will never happen. That is what is happening in Nigeria. We don't hate anybody, but our value, the way we are as a people, we cannot mix. It's not possible. We can't. It's impossible. You cannot be having 27 children in the north with 4 wives, and you expect us in the south to have 1 wife. If we are lucky, we have 2 or 3 kids. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. There is something unfair about it. There is something unjust about Nigeria as a nation. And that is why people must be allowed to go their separate ways. But let me give you an example. Had all of you boycotted the 2015 general elections as we were pleading and begging from the beginning, even the last one that happened last year, by now, this man will not be boasting of his 4 wives and 27 children. Because when you get around the table and ask them, please convince me why I should be a Nigerian, he will tell you, I have 4 wives. You tell him, I only have 1 wife and 2 kids. Do you think it's fair? He will be the one to open his mouth and tell it is not fair. You know, ask him, do you think we can be in the same country together? He may say yes. It doesn't matter. We are in the north. You're in the east. You can do whatever you like. Then you ask him again, do you think it would be right for us to bring a chief justice from the south who is a Christian, schooled in common law system, to come and become an appeal judge in the Sharia appeal court you have in the north? And watch his face, how he will react. He will tell you no. They wouldn't want you to take a Christian judge schooled in common law to the north to go and preside over a Sharia court. Never. But they can bring Sharia judge to preside over a common law legal system. Is that fair? I want people to reason. Is that fair? Now you see why we don't want one Nigeria. Anyway, I'm waiting for them in a debate. I'm not giving them expo. I want to win a debate so that we can completely eradicate them from the face of this very earth. We can eradicate them from the face of this very earth. Somebody was complaining. These are the people moving soldiers. It's IPOB. IPOB is giving us problem. But hear what they have to say. Federal government said the world has abandoned Nigeria. The world has abandoned them. So when we told you that we would destroy the zoo with the truth, you didn't believe us. I said I would destroy Nigeria with truth. Nothing more, no arms. Unless they come to my village to come and shoot. If they shoot in my village, believe you me, their children will be in serious trouble. Wherever they are, we'll find them. so that their father can bury them. The same way they keep making us to bury people all the time. Let them try it and see how enjoyable it is to bury a loved one. Instead of them to be remorseful for causing the death of my father and my mother, all they're saying is that, oh, come and start shooting at people attending burial. Come and shoot. Our CCTV is there live, relaying to the whole world, relaying to British Foreign Office, so that when it starts, they won't deny it. It will be relayed live to the top governments of the world, and to CNN and to BBC, so that when it starts happening when our own madness will start, they won't go back to their propaganda. It's a secession. They are trying to secede. Secede from Unnagi. Secede from who? Who were we before you came? How can I secede from something I did not agree to? Who were we before you came and merged us together? It's because we are Africans, we are foolish, we are hopeless, we don't know anything. That was why we accepted that nonsense in the first place. No reason. Did Japan agree? When did Japan not kick you out? Did Japan not kick the Dutch out when they tried their useless nonsense? Amalgamate your father to your mother. Mad people everywhere. But you Africans, what do you have in your brain? Nothing. You accept every rubbish that goes, every nonsense that goes, you accept. If you can even find a way of importing coronavirus, you will. I preach the truth here on radio. We are live and we are direct. The time now is approaching. It's 27 minutes past the top of the hour, wherever you are on the face of this very earth. Ahamba Hamifra wrote something which I totally and completely agree with. And with permission from him, I'm going to read this out, because I agree with it in total, completely and totally. We want to let the world know that we IPOB, if you don't treat us well, we will go. Oduduwa is now saying it. Even some people are now saying it from Biafland across the whole place. Everyone wants to be free. Who started it? IPOB. You may not agree in public, but when you go into the quiet of your home, you go into the bedroom, you accept, you acknowledge that it is IPOB that started this whole thing. You acknowledge. Everyone came at us with all manner of dissenting argument, but today an overwhelming majority has bought the idea of that what IPOB is doing is correct. We made them aware. The Amoteku you have in Yoruba land is a direct product of IPOB agitation. Our call on this platform for Yoruba to rise up every blessed day, rise up and do something. You cannot keep supporting evil forever and ever. Do something for once. And they have done it. And we support them for it. Who started the... They were quoting Danjuma. Danjuma said, defend yourself before they kill you. Who started it? We did. I was in the USA. I told World Igbo Congress, give us arms because they are coming. I've seen them. They are coming. Have they not come? Have they not come? Have you not noticed how fewer and fewer people are now coming out to challenge what Nnamdi Kanu says? Have you noticed it? Because it's the truth. We don't hate anybody. We don't. It is the truth. The whole world now knows that it is the truth. All this clamor, Amoteku, Shege Dambanza in the north, whatever they call it. Did we not start it? We told you that the center cannot hold, that the zoo will fall. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how many influential publications you bribe abroad. It doesn't matter how powerful your lobbyists are in Washington. It doesn't matter how much money you give to the British High Commissioner to Nigeria. It doesn't matter. The zoo must fall. And they know it's going to fall. That's why I run over the place. Let's go and see if we can disrupt the burial of his parents. They says nothing pains him. Let's see if we can carry the corpse. Can you imagine what they're planning? That they'll come and take the corpse of my mom and my dad, since nothing affects me, since this Biafra is burning within me. The desire for Biafra is so much that I don't feel any pain. That's what Alamajid is saying. So does he have not heard this before? In Asoro, that is what Abakari is saying. That my passion for Biafra is so high, is so much that nothing They know nothing can stop me, nothing. Nobody born of a woman can. So why don't we go and abduct the dead bodies of the mother and the father? Let's see if he will not be pained. That's what they're planning. That's why they're all over the place. We're waiting for them. That the world will bear us witness. They have prepared their lies, and I'm sure the British High Commissioner have prepared all their lies. Oh, they came there was a clash. I'm sure Yoruba newspapers have prepared their lies. Oh, there was a clash. There is a clash going on. There is a clash. I'm in my house, burying my parents, and you came to my house and telling me there's a clash. Thunder will fire you and fire you, the rest of the family. I'm in my house burying my parents, and you're bringing your arms, your guns from Sambisa forest to my house to cause trouble. And you're telling me there's a clash. Then you must have descended from the lineage of Lucifer. There will be no clash that day. It is them looking for our trouble so that the world may know. I know what they do. I know that Channels TV, they have prepared. Oh, there was a clash. The army was going. They were throwing stones. As the army was passing, they started throwing stones. And the army tried to calm them down. And they said no. And they opened fire. There was a clash. We know all your headlines. We know what you're going to do. We know you very well because you're predictable. You are so foolish. You are driven by the ignorance of the Fulani. You know nothing. It's only Britain defending you because of British hatred for Biafra. Because Britain knows that Biafra is the shining light of Africa. They know it. Once Biafra comes, it will have the same effect that Japan had in Southeast Asia. They don't want Biafra to come because once Biafra comes, Africa is free. You think they're stupid? They know. So I don't look at Janjaweed Alamajiri as holding me. It's not them holding me. I know the powers that are stopping Biafra. But Chukwu Kekabiyama will deal with them. You watch and see what is going to happen. Watch and see what is going to... Let me also remind them, I said this during the last broadcast, that look at the state of Israel. Throughout history, God will use nations to punish Israel. And after that, those nations will suffer. Go and check it very well. It's in the Bible. For those of you that read the scriptures, go and check it very, very well. We are the first to start the regional security outfit. IPOB started with we are the first. Everything, we are number one. They say it's the way we ride, the way we boast. Why won't we boast? We are special. Do you know what is IPOB? Do you think IPOB is for riffraffs? Remember the names they used to call us? Miscreant, gutter, tout, Biafra. All those names are gone, isn't it? Because when they go back and they listen to this broadcast, they will say, oh my goodness, these people, they so foul. But they'll come out, they'll be pretending they don't know. Of course, we know they listen. And they do what we ask them to do. Because we stand on the truth. History has shown, as Ahami Fuller wrote, history have shown repeatedly that only IPOB is a proactive, only, I said only, forget it, only IPOB. That is why we would not abandon anybody. We are not fighting for Biafra just to liberate Biafra land alone. No, it's to set everybody free. I'm telling you the truth. Set everybody free. Set everybody free. Dead people begin to decide. If Biafrans decide that one day they want to be in a country with Oduduwa, they sit around the table and they discuss it. This is what binds us together. This, let's agree, and they agree and they move on. That is how civilized, that is how human beings form a nation. That is how countries are created, or through outright conquest. Not somebody coming from somewhere. You come to Lancaster House, come and drink tea. They drink tea. They say, oh, these are the elites. The elites went. They drank tea with Queen Elizabeth and they danced with Queen Elizabeth and they went back and idiots. They came back and they are now independent. What utter garbage. Monkeys jumping from one tree to the other. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We have defeated the zoo. Those they called miscreants. We are more intellectual than them, more intelligent than them, all of them combined, put together. I have said this to you people before. Forget all this nonsense. Put a microphone in their mouth, live interview, and say, answer this question. Don't allow them to go back to the library and be copying speeches made by great political writers in centuries gone by. That's what they do. You see it on paper. It's, hey, this big grammar. Rubbish. They copied it. Plagiarism. Put microphone in their mouth and say, speak the way Nnamdi Kanu does when he's on interview. They cannot. Not in a trillion years. They cannot. They're not articulate enough. Those you are calling miscreants, they are now telling you everything they have said is now come to pass. You are now doing everything they asked. When we asked them to form security, they said, no, you're trying to break the country. The same thing they argued against, they are now doing. Everything they accused us, everything they said, no to. Nnamdi Kanu wants to bring war. He wants to divide the country. In America. Today, Danjuma is asking you to be armed, and Moteku will be armed. Even a Jaw nation in Biafra say they want to form their own. Typical, very typical. I've warned everybody in every nationality in Biafra. I've been warning them from time. Some of them don't want to listen. You have to listen. Some of you don't want to listen. A Jaw cannot go it alone and survive. You cannot. Not in a billion years, you cannot. The sooner you realize it, the better. Are we supposed to sit around the table and discuss everything? Of course we will. Biafra is for everybody. Every input matters. All the way to Igede. Everybody must contribute to the type of Biafra they want. It's not IPOB drawing a template and saying one size fits all. No. Everybody must be involved in it. We are getting there. And when we get there, the confab will be held. And everybody will have his or her say. And then we come together and the constitution will be formalized and ratified. That's how it's going to be done. Nobody's going to lord it over anybody else. That means all our education is for nothing. We didn't go to school to behave like primitive Africans. We can't do that. It's impossible. We are learned. We are learned. And that brings us to the end of our very live transmission today, which unfortunately could not be aired across Biafra land on FM. I thank all of you for listening, but I do have one or two announcements to make. Very important announcements to make. Very, very critical, very, very important announcement to make. I appointed a new woman leader in Anambra. It's unfortunate in fact, Deputy will make sure that this program is replayed from tonight after we go off air, it's replayed. Mwada Nkechi Kulu Onyebuchi is the new IPOB woman leader in the whole of Anambra. And there are some people who are not following our laid down rules and procedures. This is my final warning to them. If they continue to misbehave or not to adhere to instructions, they will be expelled from IPOB. I say this to them. Onwatuegu is the Anambra State Coordinator. If Onwatuegu calls a meeting and you don't attend, you'll be suspended from IPOB. You'll be gone. No appeal, no excuses, nothing. If Onwatuegu convenes a meeting, you must, I repeat, you must attend. Because we are fighting wars on multiple fronts. We don't need insubordination and ill discipline. Obey before you complain. The first thing I was taught when I went to Government College Omai, of course, the finest secondary school in the whole world. For those who know, should I say the finest high school in the whole world, formerly Fisher High School. As soon as you go through the gate as an Onyo, the first thing, Onyo is class 1 student, a fresh man. Once you go through the gate, the first thing they teach you is OBC. You obey before you complain. Attend the meetings and then you can complain afterwards. I'll listen to you. This is the final warning. Once Onwatuegu convenes a meeting, you must attend. If you don't attend, you're off. The same thing goes with our women. Any meeting convened by Mwada Nkechi Kulu Onyebuchi, you don't attend, then you're off. You're not one of us. As simple as that. That brings us to the end of our program tonight. But I want to play something for our people as a way of sign off, to sign off this very program. What I said very many years ago, which, should I say, unfortunately, have come home to roost. Let me play it for you.
ISIS will enter the zoo and Chad unless, and this is from an Islamic newspaper. As I told you before, anything you hear on Radio Biafra is correct. I told you on this platform that they will come for you. You see, let me tell you one thing that people don't know because you don't know history. I forgive some of you because in your schools in the zoo, they don't teach you anything. I want some people to actually go and sit down and study the history of Islam. Islam is the only religion that has never stopped growing. Islam is the only religion that has never stopped expanding through militancy and war. Others have stopped, only Islam. Christianity is based on convincing people, telling them about the message of hope and restoration of Yahweh Yeshua. Of course, immensely corrupted, that we know for sure. But Islam believes in expanding through war, and that war is coming. Now, I must be put on record. And Uche Mefo, I wanted to record this very broadcast and play it all the time for our people to also understand and listen very carefully. And I will say it tonight. And if you come to me in the future, I'll refer you to the broadcast of the 8th of June, 2015. And that I made this very comment I'm about to make now at precisely 10 minutes to 8 p.m. in the evening. If ISIS comes down into the zoo, of course they're part of Boko Haram anyway. If they fall, not if they, because they have forged an alliance already. If they launch any attack with the name of ISIS on the zoo soil, if you come to us to give us weapons, I will decline it. I will allow them to kill all of you before we mount any counteroffensive. Let me tell you one thing that you don't understand. Some of you, you claim you went to school, but you didn't go to school. Because if you went to school, you will understand how Islam works. Islam is coming for you. They must come for you. It's a M-U-S-T, must. There is nothing anybody can do about it. Only you can defend yourselves. This headline here is a confirmation if you need one. I think Abubakar said it yesterday. Today is being confirmed that ISIS is coming. Not just Boko Haram, but the real bad people that are coming. They need access to the oil, and they will get it to secure their financial base for their continued expansion within the whole of sub-Saharan Africa. The zoo is seen as pivotal. And Biafra land is where the resources that they're looking for is lying in. They don't trust Buhari anymore. Buhari was their godfather, they no longer trust him. I mean, Boko Haram in this instance. Buhari, they thought would give them Sharia immediately. Buhari saying, I don't belong to anybody. From that day, they intensified their bombing. Some of you cannot reason, you cannot see very well because you're blind. But at least you're lucky. You're listening to Radio Biafra. Very, very lucky indeed. I'm telling you the truth. Or else, I can fufu in your blindness. It is that darkness we've come to shed light on that you can see properly. If they enter the zoo, I will not command this army. And I need guns and I have the men. I need guns and I need bullets. That's all we need. And then we win. I have been sounding this warning. I've been telling you, you think we are joking. They are coming. Your mothers will be raped. Your sisters will be married off as slaves. I'm telling you that now. Right as I speak, write it down. Biafra land will be decimated. Unless we equip this army to defend us. If we don't equip our army to defend us, in other words, if we don't march this year, it will be very difficult for us to recover. Forget all this nonsense. All these so-called pro-Biafra groups you're saying, Awasa brought them out to confuse you. Awasa brought them out. That is why they cannot say what we are saying or do what we're capable of doing. These are Awasa groups and you are not listening. As now I want him on you are not listening. Because the devil has gone into all these idols that you worship. The devil has gone inside you to harden your heart, to blind your eyes that you can no longer see. That day I will tell you to remember the broadcast of the 8th of June 2015. I will tell you to go back to it. I need guns and I need weapons. If I don't have guns and bullets, the army of Biafra cannot defend your towns and villages. The sooner you get that into your thick skull, the better for everybody.
You are black people, you don't reason, I know that for sure. But the sooner you take this very message seriously, the better for everybody. Or else you're finished. ISIS is coming. They will enter the zoo and Chad very, very shortly. Not as Boko Haram, they are coming in as their franchise and as their name dictates. ISIS is coming. If you like, you make haste while the sun is shining, or if you like, you can continue to be dumb and stupid. That is entirely up to you. I won't be there, but you'll be dead anyway. And Radio Biafra will not report it, and nobody will. If you like, you give us guns. If you like, you don't. We are trying to save you, not you saving us. We'll continue.
As I said, when the time comes, I'll remind you, that was my voice on the 8th of June, 2015. I said, when the time comes, I will refer you to this broadcast. I am referring you to that same broadcast today, the broadcast of 8th of June, 2015. I told you they will come. Have they not come? I don't believe in village prophecy. If the APC gives you the result of a tribunal, election tribunal, you can't be jumping up and down like a spring chicken. I tell you what will happen before it happens. I don't even call it prophecy. It is divination from heaven. Once I'm sat here, anything I say comes to pass, and anything I proclaim must happen. Because I serve Elohim. Fools were playing with us, laughing and joking. Tonight is the 8th of February, 2020. I refer you to my broadcast of 8th of June, 2015. I told you you'll be killed. I told you ISIS will come as ISIS. They call them ISIS in West Africa. I told you that they will come, Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb. They have come. I told you they will come as their franchise. They will not affiliate with anybody. I said it. They will come as their own franchise. No affiliation with anyone. Has it not happened? That is why they must respect IPOB. We are the children of God in heaven. And that is why we will defeat Okon, defeat every army that come against us. Because only God is heaven, is ahead of us and behind us, and will guide us through the day and guide us through the night. No matter the tribulations we encounter, ultimately we prevail, we win. Because Biafra is our religion. Biafra is my religion, and here on Radio Biafra is where we worship. Because Elohim, Adonai El Shaddai, Chukwu Okike Abiama, Prumihenine is our God. I thank all of you for listening, and from me, from here, it is good evening.